got one chance. No sleep till I'm enhanced. Fight hard and keep my stance. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
Taking over the game.
What am I watching? They might just be doing it.
He's a god. He's a god.
Yeah.
Oh!
Full force, I'm unleashed, so don't speak. Grandmaster, don't sleep. Victory, it tastes so sweet. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside. Let's go.
Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch League action. I am Achilles, joined as always by the lovely Mr. Avril. And it's been a long time, Avril, since we found ourselves here on this, this broadcast. Not since the end of the May Melee. Now it's time for the June Joust, and I, for one, am excited to jump back into the Overwatch action.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels like it's been quite a long time, and look, we've had a wild week of June Joust, especially in the APAC region. And, look,
yes.
I'm sorry, but APAC must be the heartbreaker region because all your pick'ems are ruined, all my pick'ems are ruined. Seth, I know all yours are ruined. Don't lie to me. I know you're the senator. I know you're over 100 points, but let the rest of us try and catch up here. So if you want to catch up to Achilles, just print the opposite of what you think is going to happen. Because apparently in the APAC region, it's just completely upside down, right? I don't know.
Yeah, everything is topsy-turvy over here in the APAC region. So we'll see how things, if things are going to level out here today. Before that, though, if you are one of those people who loves to submit your fan art, make sure you guys go ahead, check it out down there below on the bottom of your screen, overwatchleague.com/art gallery. We're looking for fan art, your favorite Overwatch League player enjoying a nice cold Coca-Cola product. Evoke some of those old classic 1950s Coke, Coke ads, that kind of thing. Maybe that would be really nice. Some watercolor stuff. I don't know, but boy, it's been a really wild start to this tournament, and coming up at the very beginning of this, we also have the LA Valiant. So who knows if the craziness is going to continue? Maybe we will see them be able to pick up a win. But they're going to have to, pilot around these hero pool bans, of course. Tracer, Sombra, Reinhardt, and Zenyatta all have been removed from the pool. Will not be available throughout the entire duration of the June Joust. We've been seeing a lot of the teams who previously were sitting up top struggling a hell of a lot with this hero pool. So let's see how these guys are going to deal with it today.
Yeah, this is it's been interesting so far because early on with any hero pool, I feel like teams are going to be figuring stuff out. On your screen now is Power Rankings with IBM Watson. No surprises, it is filled to the brim with Dallas Fuel players, Shanghai Dragons players.
Yep. Right
in the middle there, Smack Bang is an OG looking around. I'm like, what's going on here, guys? How we doing? You guys come here often? Because it's like all Dallas and Shanghai players. And so really what we're getting towards is IBM Watson really loves it when you win. So if you're a player that's looking to get really high up, to get high up in the rankings, really you gotta win, right? Surely, that's clearly what we've seen here.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, this is even just a terrifying hero pool for the Dallas Fuel. As soon as I saw it, I was like, well, this just kind of makes them better because they don't have to worry about the Tracer anymore. Obviously, like Doha with the Sombra is going to be good, but now that you can go for the Genji. But here we go. Shanghai Dragons, they're throwing us a curveball off the bat. If you guys did not see the tweet that they just made a few minutes ago, who are you? He doesn't even have his photo taken yet. He is being fielded for Shanghai today. This is Fleta taking a step back. Normally when we see adjustments being made by the Shanghai Dragons, it's going to be DM coming in over Lip, but Fleta has been a mainstay. This is one of the first times in, I don't even know how long it's been since we've seen Fleta on the bench.
It's not even just who are you, by the way. Look to your right, Molly's also coming in. Shanghai have just said, you know what? We got some players who want to play. I'm surprised Lip's even playing. You should just put DM in here. Just get your entire, everybody else that hasn't really had much of a chance to play so far in the season. Throw them on right now. This is a massive confidence move. I was actually thinking, we hadn't even discussed who are you yet. We, had barely touched on Molly in the past there, Seth. And, with Shanghai Dragons, in the back of my mind, I was thinking maybe Who Are You comes out today because Dragons play against Valiant. They're probably very confident against Valiant, let's be honest. And so why not just display Who Are You on like day number 1? Looking at Valiant here, no surprises. They pretty much only have 6 players anyway, and they're going to have to get it done here. Unfortunately, and this is a fun stat, Crystal's actually 39 out of 39 on IBM Watson ranking. So yeah, Watson not really liking Crystal at the moment. We'll see if Valiant can change their thing.
Yeah, I mean, they really need to. They want to get some wins on the board. And I think you take down Shanghai Dragons. I mean, think about how big of a boon that would be. You can see Milan is he's munching on something right now. Just getting that pre-match snack in, I suppose. Right? Is there getting ready?
You don't want to be
load
hungry in
up
the middle of the
into
game, trust me.
That's very true. Get it out of the way. Don't be like me and have your food arrive in the middle of the broadcast. Make sure you have your food consumed before the action starts. But here we go. It will be Busan to start off this series. And yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out with Who Are You, with Molly. Right now, just going to be showing us the Symmetra, at least for the initial teleport. Question is, does he stick with it? We have seen it from time to time here on Mecha Base, but he's going to be swapping it out, and it will be Who Are You moving over to the Reaper. Seems like Crystal, though, still going to be sticking with the Microwave Lady.
Yeah, I thought Who Are You may be going for Doomfist as well, because Doom plays well on this map, and Crystal's going to get eliminated straight away. So, I mean, Shanghai Dragons not wasting too much time here.
Yeah, he just dies. Ton of damage being pushed out now onto the members of the Valiant as they try to do pull back. Lanran does manage to escape, gets topped up, but same cannot be said for High B. Will get picked off on the back end. A little bit of a back cap attempt there from Silver 3. They can't really get it rolling. Will just be Lijiang hopping around like a madman, waiting for this to get capped. They finally will have it, and that's going to be Shanghai starting things off first here on Mecha Base.
I think Crystal might want to think about a Reaper here as well. If you remember back in 2019 when we had that kind of height of the double shield meta, Doom Reaper was really good at cracking double shield by bypassing completely. Here we go, Milano is trying to get something done, but Valiant can't even really get on spawn here. They can't get through the choke.
Yeah, they can't exit together is the problem. There's no one really here to cover each other, so they do just end up leaving Chochung by himself. He gets picked off, and now they just push forward, and it's just looking like an effective spawn camp. Void already has the Flux online. I mean, good lord, building a Flux before a Deadeye is on the board here is it's damn impressive. So he's got that ready to go. They have the Amp Matrix as well.
It's AoE damage, man.
So, yeah, plethora of tools to utilize to continue to hold this. As we see Silver 3 just kind of slinking around the back.
Interesting to see how they're going to get this done, because Nano was used already. That was used on Milan Run while they were losing anyway. So maybe a bit of a desperation panic move. Really need to see Milan being opening this up as well. That's going to be a catch on to the Flux and possibly fight over already.
Yep, and here we go. Let's just throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. Looking for that team kill. Can't quite get it. They will be alive, but yeah, Death Blossom, Deadeye, the Flux. Shanghai, I don't really think they mind. They commit 3 ults to the fight. They really feel themselves at the moment, as they, justifiably should. It's been a very dominant start to this map, as they are getting ready to surpass 80% now on the board. Looking to push forward, Milanrot getting that uppercut in, but we'll just get cut down in midair. We'll see. Barrier coming out here from Crystal, trying to build up on that left click hold. Does do quite a bit of damage now. Thinking, Who Are You low? It seems like he does not have that Wraith Walk. Now with the Bionade layered in on top, they push forward. They finally managed to find the kills. Just have to walk over to the point now. Silver 3 is already getting to have this cap come through, so it's not going to be 100% to 0. We'll see how Shanghai now want to reapproach this.
Not bad. I mean, they did that 5v6 as well. Milan Run died pretty early there. Crystal pops down the Photon Barrier. What he actually did well was place the teleporter as well, go for the backline, get a kill to Who Are You, who I think might have already used his Wraith Form already. So Crystal ends up with 2 picks there, really important. Now they have control of the point. It's a long climb up this massive steep hill. They got to try and fight these, get these fights started early.
Anti on to 3. It's going to be Molly taking down now. Lijiang dead out of the fight. Great punch timing there from Milan Run to finish off Void as he hits the ground. They will lose 3 members in exchange, but this is going to be the Valiant maintaining control of the point for now. 30% on the board for them.
Milan Run, what's that? He doesn't like Soul? You're not even playing against Soul right now. That's for later on. We'll get there. We'll get there, Milan Runners. Right now, looking for Wuya's next, his next nano boost as well. I think that bio nair that Wuya threw in on the previous fight was a pretty big deal. So, what can we get now? Graviton Surge to be played up next. Not a lot to work with the Shanghai Dragons. Possibility for Valiant to get a lot more done here.
Good dink. That's going to be grab used, catching up 3. Bionade layered in on top. Immortality Field already finished off. Void trying to kite back. A little bit of a botch here from Silver 3 as he tries to go in for the roll through, but doesn't really matter. Shochung with the right clicks, just lobbing them in like an artillery cannon there. Just managed to find the follow-up 2 kills in the back end of the fight. It's a solid looking hold here. Suddenly this is looking very possible. I mean, ults coming online, nearly have that Bongo up with the Death Blossom, but I mean, this has been pretty good on the back end here from the side of the Valiant.
I think Valiant can reach 99 here. This is looking last fight territory. I mean, I say that, but Silver 3 gets melted. The Nano has to come on through.
Yep, Nano does get used. Looking to take down Milan round. They get the shield bashing onto him. He so desperately wants to get this Meteor Strike online. He now has it. They actually haven't been able to finish him off. Death Blossom does come through. Meteor Strike finds Molly, but it's a cleanup onto 4 at the cost of 2. Both supports now going to be gone as they make their way over onto the point. Trying to get this tag in. They do manage to do so as Silver 3 is just going to be contained over on the backside. They don't manage to get the body block, but they hound him down. Lip chasing in with those rolls. As the reload gets the kill. And it seems like might just bleed away. IP does manage to tag with the Deadeye, greets him as he arrives to force out the overtime. Void dropping down onto the low ground will get finished off, but nobody else can touch the point. It's a really good turnaround there for a while from the side of the Valiant, but they cannot quite get it done, but they do take us to 199.
Yeah, I'm a little torn on this one. I'm not sure if I'm a little maybe disappointed that Shanghai didn't cleanly finish that one. They had such a huge lead. They were pretty much spawn camping Valiant. Or am I more maybe a little bit disappointed that Valiant didn't win themselves? I mean, they put it towards the last fight territory. They made the 0-99 comeback, and then Silver 3 dies straight away. You put the Nano onto Milan, which is probably where you want to go anyway. He's struggling to get a Meteor Strike into play. You're also fighting into a small room where Who Are You is going to get maximum value on the Death Blossom. And, I mean, just looking at the replays now, early fights going massively in the way of Shanghai, a lot of spawn camping. It wasn't until Crystal popped down that Photon Barrier ultimate from the Symmetra and TP'd to the backline that they actually found some success. Let's move on to downtown, though. This is the composition that I really wanted to see. A lot of Ashe Echo that's been mainstay, I think, of the APAC region. Some NA teams have been playing as well. Fate coming through on the Orisa. Haven't been really seeing a lot of double shield. Did see Shanghai play double shield just in on Mega Base, though, so maybe that's the start of something.
Silver 3 just looking to hold this high ground for now. Takes the brunt of those sticky bombs, but for the most part will be okay. Still, you know, showing some greenness when it comes down to navigating the map here with these rolls. He's crashing to do a couple different things. As Who Are You finds an opening kill on a Milan run, asserting his aerial dominance. Skills coming in right at the perfect moment there for Lip as he does nearly get picked off. Follows up quickly with a headshot, but Crystal does manage to strike him down. Dink into a body tag, gets the kill, and the bomb is nearly online here for the Valiant's Ashe. Now has that one ready to go. Just gonna throw it straight out onto the point, but Silver 3 is eliminated. Point still going to be contested. Here's the bomb. Not going to be able to get a back cap going through. The rest of the squad getting ready to move down the stairs over towards the platform as they finish off the bomb. Milanron takes quite a bit of damage. Nano was used on him as well. They just managed to find the kill. Yeah, Who Are You? And Lip coming up with the kills here, getting rid of that pharmacy. Well, I say pharmacy, but, you know, it's basically that. There's not really a good Mercy Echo name yet, but maybe we'll come up with one eventually. Either way, they get the eliminations. Crystal's dead on the back end. 33% now on the board for Shanghai.
Like an Echo Mercy and E-Mercy, no idea. Haven't got a good one for it. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Not as good as Pharmacy anyway. Good response kill from Laron towards Lip. Could be res by Lijiang, so if that happens, it does. Oh, at the cost of Lijiang's life.
Shochung just kind of running straight through Lijiang. He's trying to just glide his way over to a teammate. Good interception from him, but it seems like it's not going to be good enough to really get themselves onto the point here. Laron now just trying to poke out, build up for that duplicate. But as I do say this, they do manage to find a pickoff on the Lip. Void's so very low here. That's going to be catastrophic. And then, wow, he just lobbed in those sticky bombs and managed to find Molly on the back end of the fight. Milanron actually doing so much work right now. Manages to find Who Are You as well. Pulls back. Gets the kill on the Lijiang Tower. He goes diving forward to try to get the finish here onto the Echo. Does not happen. Sticky bomb to the beam. It's all ready to go. And that's going to be a significantly faster flip now here for the Valiant. They've got a lot of ults to utilize for this defense.
And this time they actually camped before the 99% mark for the Shanghai Dragons as well, so a little bit more, you know, movement there, a little bit more breathing space for the Valiant side. Like I said, a lot of ultimates to play through here as well. Saw Crystal at the start of the fight start to really pick up pace, got that solo frag on the Lip, got a very fast bomb. Now Milanron's picking up pace on the Echo, so he's still trailing behind Who Are You damage-wise on the Echo by a significant margin. I'm talking like 4K. But at this point in time, as long as Silver 3 doesn't die at the start again, things should be okay. Silver 3 is very critical. Nano's on Milanron.
Now onto Who Are You as well. High B in the meantime off screen, gonna get taken down. Maybe get the finish here on the bomb as it doesn't have too much time left, but actually Who Are You gets picked off by it. Lip with his own bomb will manage to find Crystal. Shochung in the meantime making his way back into the mech. Lanron pushing forward, does have the self-destruct available. Throws that one down. Dynamite going in to try to finish off the Baby Diva. Needs to peek the corner, needs to try to find him. They will go ahead, just break that duplicate for now. As Void presses forward, tries to get that finish, but it's good covering fire there from Shochung with the D-Matrix to make sure that he can successfully back off. That being said, the point has gone back into control of the Shanghai Dragons, who are now at 94%, getting ready to at least take this into OT yet again. Silver 3 around the backside of the point, does get spotted out, picks up that Mega Pack, just trying to bide his time, wait for the rollout, moves up onto the high ground, drops down with the mines, but instantly takes so much damage. Has to play this out carefully, needs to get top back up. Now he's going to be antied off screen. Molly finds the finish. Self-destruct from Void, not going to be able to find any kills, but he gets back into the mech safely. Res being used by Hive to put Milanron back into the fight, but can he do anything? He's had high impact so far. Needs to do it right
Shanghai
here,
Vaults.
right now, if they want to take it, but they just cannot get the touch. And that is going to be Shanghai picking it up. Valiant effort, you know, not to just play on the pun, but overall, this was, I think, a better look than we might have been anticipating, especially in that first round, but unfortunately for them, just can't quite make it to the point there on downtown.
Yeah, I would think that Valiant really put up some. They really put up a fight here. There are still some concerning things. I would say that for Valiant overall, what I had basically looked at on paper in theory was going to be their strongest composition. Should be the one they displayed on downtown. We're looking towards Echo Ash, right? Crystal on the long-range hit scans has been pretty proficient. We've seen what he can do in the past. You know, that Philly game comes to mind. Even though they lost that one, Crystal was able to kind of compete with Carpe there. Milan Run. Look, if you're looking at Valiant, he's been the Tracer guy. Now that Tracer's gone, the good news is you don't have to deal with Lips Tracer, but you don't have Milan Run Tracer either. So he needs to be very good on this Echo to find success. And I think Silver 3 had some problems on Mecha Base, especially that was a little bit cumbersome. If that can be sort of fixed up, Valiant might be able to do a little bit more here. But I mean, we probably expected Shanghai to be the better team here, and a 2-0 on Busan to start things out with, pretty expected.
Yeah, well, it seems like the players still going to be in good spirits, just taking a look at them there in the player cam. So let's see how they bounce back as we get ready to go into map number 2 and see if there's going to be any kind of roster changes to greet us as well. You already see Fleda's picture kind of popping up right there on the Shanghai side of things. We're going to go a quick little break, though, and when we come back, we will have map number 2, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. And by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Landran gets 2 with his Pulse Bomb, and then the cleanup on the Mug, making another one on Nisha. 4K for Mullen Run. Welcome to the 2021 season. And
Gorgeous play. It's going to come down to those heroics. Yaki surely not. It's like, look at him. He's in disbelief. He's saying in the camera, he's like, what is this guy doing? Lijiang gets the kill, gets the res onto Lip.
What an unbelievable play from Lijiang.
There's a world where they can actually hold, but they need this nano.
Especially if you get that shot. Great read from Crystal. There's the Carpet's going to be popping up. Checks the angle at the perfect time. Nails him. For Fleta now.
With the clove Genji, that's a quick blade build, and here we go. One blade may deserve another. As Fleta 2, 3 dashes on in. That is not something you see every day out of an Echo.
Alrighty, welcome back. Just like that, we are ready to jump into map number 2. A little bit close on Busan, but Shanghai Dragons able to take it with a 2-0. Valiant putting up a pretty good effort, especially in that first map of Mecha Base, but just couldn't quite get around on the board, Avril. So now we get ready to go into our second map, which is going to be Rialto for Escort.
And this is going to be the map where, look, if you want to run some double shield, this is probably one of the maps where it would be really good on. I don't think Valiant are going to go in that direction. Shanghai have kind of shown that they might want to try that a little bit as well. A good chance to bring Who Are You out early, but, you know, as we start moving forward, if your concern is like, oh, is Who Are You coming into bench Fleta? I don't think that's the case. You can see on the screen now, Fleta has returned. When I look across the board in terms of, okay, Erster's gone, he's retired, you're replacing Erster, Who Are You is going to be that choice. What is Who Are You playing that is going to be above Fleta? And what comes to mind is probably going to be the Doomfist, probably going to be the Genji, but for everything else, especially the Echo, which is so prominent in the current meta, Fleta is definitely going to be your guy in the Echo. I mean, he's got as MVP skin of an Echo, you know, for crying out loud. So, of course, Fleta's going to be your Echo guy. And Who Are You has had his debut now in the season, and Moon has put Fleta back into place and probably has said that, you know what, maybe Busan was too close. Maybe that one was just a little bit of a sweater.
Somebody get flop around a tissue.
Dude, like, you gotta get your food in. You gotta get your meal in.
We're counting down the moments before the doors open. The dude's got food dripping out of his mouth.
Look, you got Sato 2L. He's chugging down the 2 liters. You got Milan Run. He's got a mouthful like a hamster with a lot of food in there. He's just trying to get down that food, get that chow in before Rialto starts.
All right, well, whatever it is, it juiced him up right off the rip. Manages to find Malik and Cousin Blast, sending him right into the drink. Well, Silver 3, however, does get gone. And Fleta, he comes up with some pretty swift revenge here for his support. IB now going to be taken out. You can see the retreat attempt coming through from Shochung, but just has to dive into the water, into the murky depths of the canal. And that is going to be a major amount of space opened up. I mean, just completely... effectively non-existent defense on A. Yeah, this is... all right. We're moving into speed territory.
Is that the cap? Are we done here? Is there any more from the Valiant? I suppose Silver 3 will try and contest this. He's already on really low HP. I mean, that's the adaptive shield gone, so that's your main hero for contesting out of the picture. Well, he has healed back up. We'll see if they actually go for this or not. They are kind of setting up for a Shochung is very close by.
I mean, they're pressing forward. Now diving into the back. Void going forward. Does take quite a bit of damage. Was antied out, but... Shochung up front, now going to be eliminated, and it's just, I mean, Crystal, yeah, he's got this great line of sight. He's trying to set up the shooting gallery. Manages to find Fleta, but the res comes through. He's got to pull back, and that's 5+ minutes in the time bank now for Shanghai. This is looking catastrophic.
You know what the difference is? Void isn't wearing his headband. I think was holding him back last time, so that's that difference. This is what we missed out on, by the way, fans. We've been missing out on just seeing the players live and Milanra eating food. We had no idea for a month and a full stage. We had no idea Milanra was doing that. So you know, there we go. We've got it now. We're into action. We've got 5 minutes worth of this attack still left to go. Valiant need to be setting something up around this corner, and not a lot of ultimates are used through, but that is a good kill on towards Fate. Could be res though.
Oh, and that's going to be the panic duplicate. Okay. Man, just get the sleep here on the Milan Run. And that's after the nano comes through onto him. He's going to push up, and Lijiang goes on the hunt, manages to pistol him down out of the sky. And res will be used, but it cannot get that nano boost back. And now you see Void playing forward, just trying to block out here for his squad as they bring this up through the choke. So 3's just getting beaten, battered around like a pinball. Does get taken down in the end. Res comes through onto Fleta, putting it back into the fight. Self-destruct up over the top. Does not manage to find a pick. Crystal does punish the Baby Diva, ensuring that he cannot make it back into that mech safely as Milan Run goes in for the duplicate. Builds up for that self-destruct. Everybody pulling back around the corners. Fleta does get caught out, does get taken down. Them trying to set up for that kill, can't quite make it happen. Does hold on to the bomb and try to keep this cart moving. Finds out the enemy Ana there for just a second. VF nearly doesn't have that next nano boost online.
Crystal McCree.
Yep, somebody's got to do something here. Oh, huge Bionade. Catches on to 3 members. Now the Bongo going to be dropped
the nano.
Yeah, with that extra damage, they rip right through that Diva mech, finish off the chunk as well. Milan again with a nano boost, desperately trying to stay alive, but everybody else is just dying around him. Ivy's going to get finished off. Milan going to be the last one to die on the back end of the fight. It's going to be an effective team kill, and that's going to be point B snatched up here for the Shanghai Dragons.
It's a bit of a slow fight, a bit of a grind coming through for the Shanghai Dragons, but it never really felt like they lost control over that entire engagement. The payload was slowly moving forward over towards the end to B anyway. And Valiant never really got that kind of critical mass of frags that gave them the advantage in the fight, and still there's a lot more snowball potential. Molly has another nano boost available, double support ultimates. Boys come out of a self-destruct as well. Flitter had huge value on an Anacopter. You don't normally see that happen. I think Flitter got a bit of fair criticism previously in May Melee when he was copying a lot of Anas, but here we go. Let's see what he does with this new duplicate.
Okay, well, just instantly murders Shosheng there right off the bat. The tank line going to be broken down for the Valiant. Try to get settled in, but they just don't have that many ultimates to rely on. You know, a Valkyrie almost there, the Deadeye, but it's not going to find too much value you wouldn't expect. There's so many pillars to dip and duck around. But going to be dodging out that one as he goes in for the duplicate. Copies Crystal, now has the Deadeye of his own available. They try to push Shosheng out from behind the cart. Doesn't quite manage to make that happen. But Fleta is still here. He's still just ripping people to shreds. That being said, Fate does fall. Silver 3 is res back into the fight. So there's a bit more staying power now for the side of the Valiant, but can they actually defend this? It's just 0.29 meters left to go. Shocheng just immediately, again, broken out of the spec. They just cannot seem to keep him alive. They cannot seem to keep him in that. He's likely going to have to just go for a swap, and he does. Just move over onto the Zarya, now right back into the Diva. Mecha Crystal gets picked off by Fleta. Milanron now going to be eliminated. Silver 3 pushed off on the other side. It all comes down to the Diva trying to defend the cart, but it just is not going to happen. They finish him off one after the other as they string in onto the point. Duplicate there again from Milanron, just zipping around in the air like a madman, just trying desperately to dodge out to be able to build up for that self-destruct. It's not going to happen. He cannot get the remake in time to try to get that extra 250 damage hit. He's still buying a decent amount of time here. It's now 0.09 meters. So Deadeye will get canceled here by Crystal, and they do find Lijiang gone. So suddenly, this might actually be a little bit more winnable here for the side of the Valiant. Fleta goes in with the duplicate of his own, however, finishing off Shocheng right at the beginning of the fight. Nanabu's now out on the Milan run, but they need to do something about Fleta before he can get the self-destruct online.
Lijiang needs to res.
Through. They get the finish here onto Fate. We'll see if he can get it. Lip finishes off the enemy Echo. Boyd's going to be knocked out of the mech. He almost inches the cart in as the baby Diva. Beam comes through onto Crystal, finishing him off. On it into the back line, manages to win that 1v1 effectively versus Fleta. Sleep comes in onto Silver 3, but they kind of have to just abandon this fight. Shanghai Dragons, they commit in so hard for this. So many ults used by either side, but they cannot get the map finish.
Dude, that is... Noddy's on 97. That would have been his third nano boost in the same fight, and he probably would have put it on Fleta. Fleta then gets another duplicate, and around the circle we go again. The only thing that really keeps Valiant in there is some reasonable counter frags coming through. Like I said, Fate went down. That was an important kill that needed to be raised up by Lijiang. Couldn't quite get in there. To be fair, Lijiang has been baited into raises before. That ended up costing his life, so you don't want that. The ult that you just did is obviously Fleta coming back on a Torb. Maybe it's a bit of a mean pick, but honestly, it might not be the worst thing here. I mean, Echo doesn't have that much space to work with defensively. I don't think the Torb is the worst thing in the world, but we'll see. I mean, there's about a minute 20 left to play, so this better be good from Fleta.
I mean, it's definitely a very interesting pick. I don't, you know, I feel like we've just fallen into a different dimension right now. Everything is just so wild and free at the moment with how they're playing. The Silver 3 is going to get taken down. Fleta fighting that kill. Milanron, oh, well. Okay.
Fate just walked it home.
Yep.
Fate just, you know, he stood on the payload. Valiant did not contest. This would be like the opposite of, this is like opposite day for Shanghai, where normally they're the team that Shang 9s, and now they're the team that like will just sneak a payload across the board. So, you know, I'm okay with that. Opposite day's working good for Shanghai so far. Fleta comes out of the Torb. We never really get to see too much of the Torb. He punishes Silver 3 at least a little bit, so I guess that's what the Torb can do. You know, do some decent damage over towards a ball player, if nothing else. This play, though, was so interesting. I mean, so he copies over towards Ana. This time I think the copy on the Ana was more so because that's the first player that he saw that he could actually probably go to, so it seemed a little desperate, like a little bit more of a desperation play, like, oh, I'm about to die. When I was looking back at the Hangzhou versus Shanghai game, there was a critical fight that might have actually been on this map, Rialto, where Fleta failed to duplicate and then ended up losing to the map because he had enough time just to duplicate and he failed to do it, and him dying at that specific moment really cost the team. So this time Fleta is taking no chances. If he's low and he thinks he's going to go down, he's going to duplicate. But then the clutch thing he does there, and obviously you see it, but he gets a sleep dart onto Milanron, and then as luck would have it, Milanron then slides down on the side of the fence that ends up in front of Fleta, which is perfect. Yeah. So crazy line of events there. They do get the cap with a 5-minute time bank though, Kilios. I don't know if I'm happy with a minute 10, but they got it across the line.
Yeah, they finally did do it. It's just the matter in which they made it happen is just such a head scratcher. But all the same, they made it to the end of the map now. Let's see how the Valiant are going to fare as they go out on this push. We're still moving up this left side flank, get a couple shots in. Almost had that line of sight there onto Fleta to try to get the punish. Maybe force out the res early. Doesn't quite manage to nail those shots, however. Fleta just taking some bot shots. Sticky bombs, not really going to get a hit. Milan Run in the meantime, taking a nap. Just get woken up quite brutally by the Bionade, but seems like the follow-up damage is not going to be there, so they cannot take him out of the skies quite just yet.
By the way,
Hard for the moments, just moving up pretty freely.
pay attention to Wuya's ult charge here, but what you really need to see is if you get a sub 1 minute nano. He's actually got a 46-second nano, really excellent. Obviously going to Silver 3. Could go into Milano, but I think you wanted to be on Silver 3 to open up space. Milano's already on the flank, so if they can connect the dive together, and here it is, Silver 3 needs to find a target and communicate that to Milano.
He's got to wait for the leap cooldown. Now goes back up here onto the high ground. Fate will get pushed down low. Goes in for the pull, trying to just burn him down, but there's just no support here with Lijiang getting picked off by Milanron, who has been doing his damnedest to really make things work here for the side of the Valiant. I mean, a lot of that delay that we just saw on that point C hold here for the Valiant was on the back of him and his Echo play. So it's been a very good performance from him so far on the day, which is good to see. I would say that he's probably been one of the more heavily criticized players here for the Valiant thus far. It's a good look for him so far.
You got a little respect being given
left alone. Yeah, that's Silver 3. Eliminated. The Bob now going to be coming out from Crystal. Throws that one down the bridge. Fleta going to be going in for the duplicate. Does manage to get the copy here. Onto Shochuk. Bob finding both the mech and Hy-Vee, but the turnaround of the fight is there. Valiant looking to win this one out. Fleta tries to stay alive. He gets pushed away from the cart, so cannot keep contesting. Moves up, does manage to re-mech. Now he's going to get popped back out over into his Echo form. Slip does find 2 on the back end of the fight, but they get the forward spawn now. They get point A, and it's with not that much less time comparatively here for the side of the Valiant. 4 minutes and 22 seconds now in the time bank.
That comes from the fact that Valiant got these early kills, and the respect I'm talking about, the fact that Shanghai just kind of back out, they will respect the space, they're not going to try and push too far back in, and, you know, as they try and retake, and Lijiang is another one of the first frags. He's died early now twice, so it kind of reminds me of the Shanghai Hangzhou game, where, you know, again, Lijiang was the guy being bullied on that Mercy. Valkyrie being popped now, wanting to take no chances.
Yeah. Self-destruct thrown out, only going to be able to find the bongo. Molly, however, does get taken down, the res comes in, and now Fate is going to be eliminated. It's always that rough situation when you're a Mercy. As soon as you use the res, you're bound to lose somebody else. It's all that uptime of healing lost. Molly taken down, lip punching for that, but does manage to get eliminated as well. And the res is going to be there to put Crystal right back into the fight. He nearly has another bomb ready to go. Just 1% away. The cart continues to roll forward. Shanghai Dragons, they look really rough on this defense. Seems like they cannot find their footing.
They need the nano.
Yeah, they absolutely do, but is that going to be enough is still, you know, the question that I have to ask. It's going to be invested there onto Fleta. Gets taken quite low off the rip, but does manage to go right back into the fight, find Silver 3, getting that elimination. Now going to be looking for the mech. Will find it with the beam. Gets tagged up a couple times, and oh, the ult into the sticky bombs. What a great little set play there from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Fleta capitalizing just to build up, finish off that next duplicate, which he can save for the future fight here, as they do manage to shove back the Valiant. Just need to finish off these last few remaining members, and then they can go in for the full reset.
You can see here as well is that Shanghai, they're very aware of how far back they need to be able to pull to get the respawners back in there. Nano being played in on towards Fleta. They don't have a good target like Silver 3's Winston here. You're not going to put onto Fate on the Arista, so it's going to be permanent Nano onto Fleta. It's pretty much the entire game. But that's a good push from the LA Valiant. You have 2 minutes 30 left and, you know, reasonable distance over towards B. This is going to allow Valiant to play on the high wall over towards the right side as well, so you can open up a lot of different avenues for them to re-attack this point. They have to kind of reclaim a bit of this indoors, you know, upstairs section, which is where Shanghai are currently holding. Shanghai have got ultimates as well. Nano onto Silver 3, and that's how they're going to open the door.
Yeah, pushing forward with that. Does get chunked down rather low. Has to pull back. Does not have that primal, and he's still going to be 28% away from it, so the Nano not going to be netting him too much as far as the ult charge is concerned. So it's going to be a slow approach now.
Let's give them some extra room to work with. You can see now they have extra flanking routes to play in. 5 ultimates, nearly 6 on life for Shanghai, though it's probably going to be too much. It'll cost Valiant a full minute just to get past his ultimates, and then we're in the old time. So, not looking too great for the progress.
I swear, every time I glance up at Silver 3's HP bar, he's down, you know, below half or worse. just constantly getting bullied as soon as he pushes out. I mean, you can come to expect that when you've got DPS players like Flutter, like Lip, and just like that, he is going to be dead. The Bob finds the finishing blow. And that's going to be the go button here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, looking for some additional staggers. Jumping in, the duplicate even going to be committed to the fight right here. I wasn't certain if this was going to be necessary, but Flutter decides to pull the trigger on it. Says, you know what, I built these up fast enough. Let me just go for it. Chases into the backs, trying to get this D-Mech would be a huge one. Would force Shochung to go ahead and have to jump into the canal. They will find it. Sends the self-destruct up over the top. Might not manage to find a kill, but get the Baby Diva on the back end, and that is going to be time bought here for Shanghai.
I gotta say, Shanghai still have half their ultimates available, plus Molly on 47, so it's not looking too bad. They get the forward hold here as well towards the bridge. They can always fall back. Cost a little bit more time of LA Valiant, who really need a bit of time here. That's a great pickup. Lijiang Tower's not on a mercy, so obviously a res. This is going to force Shanghai Dragons all the way back, and more importantly though, Silver 3 has the Primal. We talked about Silver 3 getting chunked down, being bullied around, but the Primal, his staying power is much higher, and that's going to give LA Valiant more room to work with, but the cart's actually pulled back a lot.
Destruct up over the top, not going to manage to find any picks here, but the remake does come through. Duplicate now going to be shattered. There's Lip finds a nice headshot on the Milan Rod. Silver 3 already falling low. The primal range now going to be expiring. Does manage to get top back up, but the bomb is going to be invested here from Crystal, just sending that one straight down the lane. Anti is out onto him. Yeah, Lijiang going to be nanoed up there for the moment. The bomb into the back. Void not going to manage to find anything, but he creates enough space so he can safely get back into the mech. Lana, however, chases forward onto the steps, finds Fate, beams him down, and again, they do not have this mercy. They cannot put this Orisa back into the fight. He's likely going to have to swap over onto something like the Wrecking Ball or the Winston to get back into the fight rather quickly. It seems like he's still going to be sticking with the Orisa for now, having faith in his team to continue to delay this fight. Also knowing that this is just over point B. It's not the end of the map quite yet unless they win it. Somebody's got to touch the cart. They barely managed to get it in the end. Press comes through into Silver 3. Crystal with the Dynamite. Manages to find Molly, but Hybrid. Now Silver 3 going to be gone. Void D-Mech, but it's not going to be good enough. Shanghai Dragons looking very rocky at the start of this defense. They do manage to get the hold in front of point B, and that is going to set them up 2-0 now in the series.
I think the best part of the Valiant gameplay that we've seen was on that attack, you know, where they were able to kind of set up this dive between Milan Run and Silver 3. There was still, you know, a little bit of miscoordination there because it wasn't exactly lined up perfectly, but eventually, I mean, they land on the correct targets. They hit Lijiang down. If they watched how Hangzhou took down Shanghai Dragons, very similar story there as well. You have Goose Raid kind of just landing on Lijiang, putting the damage in the Mercy, and once Lijiang's out of the picture, that's when the Dragons defense starts faltering a bit. He comes back and dies again. A is captured. B never quite gets underway in the same way. And, you know, they get a reasonable distance, they get towards the end, but once Dragons really kind of just dig their feet into the ground, they never let go of that again. And even if they lose plays like Lip early on, they lose Flitter, Molly has to put the nano into Lijiang, they still look comfortable, they still burn Silver 3 down in record time despite the Primal, so no love lost there, Shanghai Dragons still win.
Yeah, well, match point now here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons in a very fast series so far. Let's see if the Valiant's going to be able to slow things down a little bit for us and try to put a win on the board. Otherwise, this is looking like a sub-hour series at the hands of the Shanghai Dragons. We'll see if they get it done or if the Valiant can extend this just a little bit further when we come back after the break.
Lifting off. Both capture circuits engaged. Honor. My ultimate is ready. Heroes never die. Help me. No power. Get in there.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back. Well, this has been a very fast series so far. If you're just joining us, you already missed 2 maps. They've been knocked out of the park right now by the side of the Shanghai Dragons after a successful hold on Rialto, as well as a 2-0 on Busan. Now we get ready to go into our last map. It's going to be Assault on Volskaya to see if the Valiant can finally put up some numbers, put a win on the board, and maybe even start the ball, get the ball rolling for a potential reverse sweep.
I mean, speaking of balls rolling, by the way, on Mecha Base, I do specifically remember Silver 3's ball not rolling a lot because, I mean, Shanghai Dragons shut him down pretty heavily there. Not to target the guy too much. I think it's probably hard to be in Silver 3's shoes currently because you're playing up against Shanghai Dragons versus, Lip and Fleta, whose damage output is really insane. You have Echo coming through, one of the best Echoes in the league that's constantly drilling you down. Right now, it's tough for Valiant, and that's like an understatement, right? That's not an obvious thing to say, but how do you get through this sort of matchup where you can't really initiate too much? Your main tank is shredded almost instantly. I'm almost looking at a situation where Shocheng needs to be on a diva, hard pocketing Silver 3 pretty much the entire time. You just got to keep Silver 3 alive. If you can keep Silver 3 alive for about 3 to 5 seconds longer, I think Valiant have much better team fights. Give Crystal a little bit more time to get his damage, and we know Crystal when he wants to can do some really cool stuff, and Milan as well is slowly getting there. He is getting quite diffed by Fleta, but most people would be, and Milan maybe just needs a bit of time as well with their main tank surviving a bit longer. Have those 2 DPS get a little bit more output.
Well, is that too much to ask is basically the question that I have to pose to you, keeping him alive for a few more seconds. So far, it's been proving to be pretty darn difficult. Maybe it's time, go back, watch some tape on, the original Vancouver Titans, maybe, the runaway iteration, and see how they were keeping Bumper alive through all those crazy situations. Maybe those kinds of tactics need to be brought in to try to keep Silver 3 alive, because Bumper always puts himself in some very precarious spots.
I can tell you how. They had 3 tanks and 3 supports, and both other tanks were pocketing Bumper, and all 3 supports were pocketing Bumper. Yet it was a 5 protect 1 composition. That's how you keep
they would do that for years, though. I will challenge you on that. They did it for years before Goat's meta. Okay, here we go. It's going to be the Valiant first on the attack here on Volskaya. Milanron, who, again, I have to sing this guy praises because he outside of Tracer in the past series that we've seen from the Valiant has looked very inconsistent, very low impact, but today has been a completely different story for him with this Echo. Wild improvement from him, I would say. So definitely going to keep my eyes trained on him as he goes into this Echo matchup versus Fleta yet again. I mean, you can see there's just the bullying continuing here on the Silver 3. And this is why getting these nanos so quickly is because he just has this ult battery that is Silver 3. It's a good whip shot from Lijiang to deny the leap in here from Silver 3. Is come diving in. Bionate is obviously not going to be there for the squad, so he just gets top back up. As Molly is over onto the Baptiste this time around. Crystal on the side, jumping over, keeping himself away, making sure he doesn't get snatched up. Now gets a nice headshot there on the lip at the back of the site. Now Lijiang dead, and this is just going to be a great little explosion of death here in favor of the Valiant, pressing forward, getting themselves onto point A, and that's just it. They get the cap.
I think I figured them out. I've really figured out Valiant here now. Their first dives are the best. Why? Because they can just set up these nano boosts. They're not way behind in the ultimate charge. In fact, they're ahead because Wuya can get massive ult charge. Because the damage from Shanghai Dragons is so good onto Silver 3, as long as Silver 3 doesn't die, you're going to get a speedy nano. In fact, Wuyu's on another one already. He's about to hit a second nano here in great timing. There's a double cap opportunity here. They must survive against Molly's Ant Matrix. If they can do that, they should be okay. If all you get out of the nano is a DMEC on Void, that's enough of a 6v5 to get the ball rolling. Then you give Crystal time to find a headshot, and suddenly the point's yours.
Oh, very solid start. Now 5 minutes with which to try to get this cap on to B. Let's see if they can make it happen. Had a decent time bank on Rialto. Couldn't quite make it into that point B spot. Molly, the dive comes in. They're looking for the kill, and they manage to find him. Milan around there with the beam. Silver 3 still going to be falling low. He just barely cannot get that Primal Rage up online. Suddenly, this is looking like an opportunity for a swing to come back through for Shanghai, give it the defensive spawn advantage. But up pressing forward, holds on to the duplicate. Seems like he doesn't want to use it right now, but with Fate falling, maybe they'll decide they need it, but never mind. Crystal and Milanron both get eliminated. That's going to be the DPS gone, so the rest of the squad needs to pull back.
That's really heartbreaking for the Valiant. They're 99% for Silver 3. If he gets a Primal Rage, that fight extends. And like I said, you need to have Silver 3 living for a little bit longer, buying time for Crystal Milanra. If Silver 3 is dead, Crystal Milanra in the open, they're going to get farmed by Lip and Fled. Void's there as well in the mix. And Rally Armor to chew through, it's quite a lot to deal with. And they have another 6v5. Molly's instantly down. He can't make trishes, but I don't know that it does too much. The Immortality Field comes up, gets burnt, and Molly's instantly dead. So you have these very successful initial engagements by Valiant. They just need to slow down and reset, and they can't afford that. They can't afford Silver 3 to go down, and I don't know if the Hy-Vee wants to really burn this res, because now they can't actually res for the push.
Yeah, I mean, self-destruct to try to open things, lobs that one out over onto the point, doesn't manage to find anything, does force the Immortality Field here for him. Over through the Primal Rage, knocks Molly out of it, manages to find the kill. Flood it into the back line in the meantime, trying to take down Milanron, does manage to do so. And Silver 3, now isolated, needs to get this Mega Pack, does manage to do so. As Fleta goes in with the duplicate, copying Shocheng. And that's going to be the kill on a Silver 3 on the exit. Self-destruct lobbed into the back as well, and there's just nowhere for Rhea to go. Let's get eliminated as Fleta tries to win this duel versus Crystal. Takes him low, and yep, we'll just get yoinked right back into the beam. They get that nice little stagger on the back end, and suddenly it's just over 3 minutes remaining for the Valiant.
And this is why I got a problem with Hy-Vee raising Silver 3 there. I mean, he was going to respawn anyway. You'd come back and fully reset. You'd probably give a bit, like 5 seconds over Shanghai Dragons. They might find a bit more ult percentage. But what you have in that fight is Silver 3 lives short, but then Milanron dies. And now you don't have a res to bring Milanron back into play. So you've lost one of your main damage dealers. And things are going to get troublesome from there, because I think Valiant are not going to be the type of team that can win a fight from behind here. They need to be ahead. If Valiant don't start with a 6v5, they don't have a good shot at winning this fight. So they need another nano, which Ouya has. And now they're going to repeat this whole thing, keep Silver 3 up, save your res. If Silver 3 can die somewhere reasonable, that's winnable for Valiant.
See, just every time somebody pushes their head out around a corner, Lip is ready to take it off. Milanron, Silver 3, both of them getting tagged up considerably. And for that halt, again, whip shot perfect from Lijiang, just denies these entries from Silver 3, ensuring that he's not getting value on the back of these nano boosts. Now they isolate him to get the kill. The bomb dead as well. And Matrix used just to keep everybody topped off, as well as weave in some extra damage here from Molly. They're looking for the res. They interrupt it. Hy-Vee now going to be gone. Milanron finding Fleta, but it's at the cost of the Mercy. Now Ouya going to be eliminated as well. No supports to speak of. And Milanron, yeah, he's trying to build up. Look at that little 360 Lijiang's given. He's just swinging around. Not a care in the world from this man. Self-destruct does actually manage to find Void, but that's why he's just going to be taking a quick jump over the side into the icy depths. They'll be able to respawn, and just like that, 1:35 now remain here for the Valiant.
That was honestly perfect from Lijiang. Whip shot and then body blocking, finishing kill onto Silver 3. You can see that Silver 3 was trying to make it out alive as well. Silver 3 was really trying to have an escape route to be able to go back to Ouya. Really, these pushes can only happen off the back of Nano Boost, and you know, thankfully, one thing LA Valiant can do really consistently is get a nano boost every single fight. That's partially because Ouya just landed his heals. It's also partially because now LA Valiant can just kind of take some damage on purpose or not on purpose and then heal that back up with anyone dying. Well, I say without anyone dying, but that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't think Hy-Vee's going to be able to... Okay, never mind. Just get into a position to get that res off. Still a bit of a precarious spot. The jump attempt coming through from Silver 3, but again, no primal
Didn't have primal.
No chance in hell. He's eliminated. Crystal now going to be hounded down, tries to make his way into the back to pick up the health pack, but you can see he just takes his hand off the keyboard there at the end. He knows that he's dead to rights. They get the elimination, and it's 35 seconds remaining. Silver 3, he might have to pop this primal just to touch the point so that they have a chance to fight this in OT.
Yeah, look, this is problematic because now Shanghai Dragons don't even have to use ultimates. That's great for Shanghai, awful for Valiant. Previously, Shanghai had to burn ultimates in response to Valiant burning ultimates. Now they just get a free fight because Silver 3 goes down, didn't have the primal engaged anyway. Hy-Vee reses for some reason, and they lose their res, and it all just, you know, everything hits the fan here. 10 seconds, like you said. Silver 3 or Crystal probably have to touch here, and both of them are kind of stuck right now. Here we go, here's the lead.
Okay, yeah, again, they deny it. That's going to force the primal range. He does manage to go forward. Jumping up over the top, he's looking for a target. The rally now going to be rolling from Lijiang as he looks to armor up the rest of his squad. Self-destruct out from Shocheng. He's looking for some kills. Only going to find the Immortality Field. Milanron, now the BB Diva going to be dead. Silver 3 gone. DPS cut in half. The res does come through from Hy-Vee, trying to put it back into the fight. The duplicate is available, but doesn't have that many great targets to really pick from. We'll just go for Void. It's this Diva, but instantly is going to be demeched, pushed off the point, and that is the end of it. A fantastic start yet again for the side of the Valiant, but Shanghai Dragons, they take a step back. They learn how the Valiant is looking to approach the point, and then they just completely counterplay it. They shut it down.
A lot of this comes down to the tempo of the game as well. What I mean by that is that when Valiant have control of the pacing of the game, and Shanghai Dragons are playing to the beat of Valiant's drum in the sense that consider after Valiant cap A, by the way, and this also comes off the back of a neutral. Like I said, the reason why those neutrals are so successful for Valiant is because an attacking team where you're able to soak damage effectively, heal that damage effectively, turn it into a nano, a 45 to 50 second nano, like way sub-minute. That's a crazy fast nano coming through. Then Valiant land their dive properly, they're able to connect on a target. If all they get is a demech on Void, that's all they need. They just need to make sure they convert onto a second kill before Void can remech, and then they're good to go. A's done. There's a massive respawn advantage there for Valiant on the attack. Then you try and go for the double cap onto B. And I still go back to that one pivotal fight on B at the beginning. You'll remember this one, 99% for Silver 3. If he has the Primal, that's a different fight. Can they cap off that? Maybe. But I think at least they get a tick, 2 ticks, something. They get more than 0% here. And it's a bit of a disaster from that point onwards, because once tempo goes in the favor of Shanghai Dragons, and now they are controlling the pace of the fight, they're receiving the nano coming on through, they're handling Silver 3, they're getting extra frags, Hy-Vee can't get all these reses. If he tries, he dies anyway. That's when Valiant are suddenly out of options. Crystal gives up on the Ashe, which I think is a mistake. He should have stayed on the Ashe. Goes towards the Reaper. The Reaper has even less output, and the Valiant, they're totally out of ideas.
Well, they're trying something new, so not quite out of ideas yet. Whether or not it's going to work, they're just kind of waiting to see. But we have Silver 3 moving away from everything that they've shown us so far in the series. Is coming out with the Roadhog on this defense. Crystal as well, going for the Hanzo. You can see Silver 3 already falling quite low, but the opening salvo is looking decent here for the side of the Valiants. They managed to find 2 kills and get rid of that immortality field. Pushing forward, they'll be able to finish off Faith. It's going to be a slow, long run back here for the Roadhog, but it's still a good look. And Hy-Vee actually, he cuts that journey all the way down to 0 for him. He gets res back into the fight. Now they can resume this defense.
Super important that they get the res, because if they fail to get the res on Silver 3, like I said, slow walk back for Silver 3. He might have to go towards a ball. I'm serious, you would have to respawn on something fast here, because Shanghai Dragons know they would have once more like a respawn advantage, a bit of a tempo advantage here as well. So getting that early neutral fight went a massive boon for a team like the LA Valiant. They've won both the neutrals here in both attack and defense. Can they convert this into enough of time being bled off that Shanghai Dragons feel a bit more pressure?
Here, Dragon Strike does come through. Flooded with the beam, managing to find Milanron, but now is in a precarious spot. Lip comes to his rescue to finish off Hy-Vee, but the fight still very much goes the way of the Valiant. Hook not going to connect. Silver 3 stunned up, does get finished by a Lip. So again, going to be a bit of a run back there for the Roadhog. But if he can get back here in time, then they still have a very good chance of being able to hold this. And you can see, yeah, he knows that he's going to be strapped for it.
Yeah, I mean, you went for Lip anyway, so with that being the case for Shanghai, there's a window here of opportunity for Valiant to maybe get back in towards action. Molly's only just gone over towards the Ana in the previous fight, so he's still building up towards a Nano. Nano's available for Wuya. We'll go towards Milan run. Silver 3's actually back on a ball, so he's going to be pretty quick. He's already here.
Oh, a self-destruct from Shochek manages to find 2. Lip and Void both going to be eliminated. Res has to be used to put the Sigma back into the fight. Sleep going to be good there on the Milan run, but when he wakes up, he will have that duplicate available, and he manages to pop it before he gets finished off. And he goes for the Sigma here himself, going to build up for the Flux, and look how well stacked everybody is in the moment. Bionade goes forward, manages to find 3. Slow build up here for Milan run so far, but gets the kill there onto Molly. Now the Flux is going to be coming through, pushes Lijiang up into the air, and finishes him off before he even slams him back down onto the ground. Straight back into his Echo form, and suddenly it's less than a minute and a half for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. The Valiant looking fantastic so far on this defense. Can they actually pull off this full hold?
They need to. The only way they win this map is they have to full hold. If this goes towards B, it's a draw situation. You don't want that as a Valiant. If that's a draw situation, I don't even think they can draw that. That's going to be Dragons capping through winning Volskaya, I'm pretty sure. But here, you got 1 minute left to go. Milan run, great copy on towards a Sigma, gets a Flux, AoE damage in the small room on the health pack. Brilliant. That's exactly what we want to see. Dragon Strike coming on through. This could do a lot of damage.
Comes crashing through, but flat out manages to find Crystal. Now goes in for the duplicate, copying Shochang. Oh, both supports now going to be gone. It's only the Diva left alive, and even that is going to be short-lived. Fleta barely staying in this mech at the moment, just blocking out all this damage, gets the self-destruct available, and just sends it straight down off the map. Knows that he's not going to find any value off of that one, but the fight has been won. 25 seconds remaining as they go ahead and lock down point A. Not many ults to work with here to try to go for the snowball, as Fleta is yet again going to be swapping to the Torbjorn.
I will prove myself.
I don't know, man. Torb turret on B. I'm trying to figure out what the deal is here. Maybe he feels like the Echo doesn't have enough space to work with, but I don't know, man. He was happy to play the Echo on the defense, so we'll see about that. Lips down early, mines are out.
Yep, good dive here. I like them taking the initiative. Side of the Valiant to try. Just go ahead and shut down this push, buy some time for themselves. Fate ducking in behind the barrier actually does almost eliminate Milanron. They can't quite get it done as they look to hold on to this mech and Fleta's life if they can. He manages to pick up that health back, and Void will retain the mech, so does not have to swap out. But it's a good little fight there from the side of the Valiant going forward with the mines.
I will say one thing though, I'm fairly certain, both the times you've seen Fleta go towards Torbjorn, it's maybe a specific response to Silver 3's ball. That would be my best explanation. I will have to say this also though, if the draw actually occurs and Shanghai Dragons don't cap this one tick on B, questions will be lobbied towards specifically this Torbjorn pick, and he's going to get farmed straight off the bat.
Yeah, Nano Boost was used. They managed to find that opening kill. Good start. Silver 3 in the meantime going to be stunned up. Fate gone. Lijiang Tower managed to get a nice whip shot, sending the Wrecking Ball off the side of the map. But, I mean, with how far forward they're fighting, this is absolutely fine. Self-destruct over the top. I think that might go off the side of the map. Nope, does manage to find Lip. Does not make it down onto that low ground fast enough. So Lip does get picked off. The Immortality Field not in a good enough position to try to save the McCree's life. Milanron now trying to stay in the fight. Goes for the duplicate, copies the Diva. Molly going to be eliminated. The trade out here for Hy-Vee. Push off the side, but thrusters are back online for Shocheng, so he can keep himself in the fight. Milanron now just going to be able to remech. That's going to expire. Goes back into the Echo form, and now the Valiant will play back. They need to get topped up. Still some low HP bars as they wait for Hy-Vee to rejoin the fight, but this is a very good look for them thus far.
There's one problem here, though. Despite this being okay for Valiant, look
ults.
at the ultimates for the Shanghai Dragons. That's the thing, right? 6 ultimates. We're about to walk into a critical mass fight. The only way this could go badly for Shanghai is if they're forced to use too many ults on the entry and not on the point.
Milanron receiving that nano boost. Did get taken quite low there by Lip, but he does manage to stay alive. Same can be said for Fleta. Now getting topped up, and they hold on to their ults. Minefield is available for Silver 3 to potentially use at the intro pit choke, but Molly now going to be eliminated. Crystal finds the opening on the Lijiang Tower. There's 45 seconds remaining. Fate now dead. This is catastrophic for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They very well may be held to a draw here.
I think Shanghai need to burn ultimates. They're being too frugal, these ultimates, where they don't want to burn them early on, because they know Valiant's entire game, Valiant's entire game plan is they're going to hold forward, they're going to force you to burn ultimates, and then you would lose ultimates and lose critical momentum to get over towards B. But now, you don't have a choice. You got 20 seconds remaining. You need to touch, you need to get past the entry, and you need to start using these 6 ultimates.
Somebody's going to have to touch here pretty soon. Lijiang getting anteed up for the moment. The rally rolling as they start pushing forward. Finally making their way over towards this point. For the very first time on the attack, Amp Matrix set up. Here comes the Wrecking Ball. Comes crashing through. Silver 3 stunned up, eliminated. Deadeye up over the top. They are in onto the point. They nearly have the cap already. The Valiant need to stay glued to this. Milanron, he builds up, gets the self-destruct. It's going to be 2 self-destructs simultaneously. Lijiang eliminated. Now Fate's going to be gone. Lip manages to find 1. Shocheng going to be eliminated. But Fleta taken out of the fight. Crystal with the Storm Arrows finds the kill onto the enemy. Tor. Milanron's into the back. He's looking to get the finish here onto Molly. The sticky bombs are going to be good. Lip presses forward. Manages to find the kill, but they still need to cap at this point. The OT starts bleeding away rather quickly. They get the tag back in, but just for a moment, and they've actually done it. They have made it happen. They will not go down without a fight. They will not be 3-0'd, at least not yet. The Valiant, they forced the draw here on Volskaya, and they had a stacked deck. Did the Shanghai Dragons 6 ultimates online for the final fight, but they get picked off one after the other, Avril.
Oh my god. They were trying so hard to be perfect on the macro there that Shanghai Dragons shot themselves in the foot. Can I also say, Shocheng played out of his mind. That entire forward hold on B, So much of that was Shocheng, multi-frags at multiple stages, constant Diva Bomb connections. He did that on the actual fight on B, by the way, as well. Brilliant defense being shown by Shocheng. And then on top of that, the Milan run copying over towards Diva. Shanghai Dragons end up burning all their ultimates anyway, trying to get towards the point, and it just doesn't work for them. Someone check Flitter's bank account also. I don't know about that. Like, the Torb, it's good versus Silver 3. Great, but that's, in my opinion, that is a play to not lose mentality versus a play to win mentality. Play to win mentality says, just keep playing the Echo. Who cares about Silver 3's ball? You want to kill Silver 3's ball? Use your focusing beam.
Yeah. Well, good God. I think we need to take a little break here so that we can refocus in on the rest of this series, because it's not done yet. Shanghai Dragons do get held to a draw on Volskaya by the Valiant. And now let's see. They get, that's halfway there. Let's see if they can get a map win on the next map when we do return. So don't go anywhere, guys. It is heating up, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this is going to play out after just a quick little break here.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
All right, we are back in this weird upside-down reality that is now just the APAC region, apparently. That's true. You're always upside down, as the classic meme goes. But yeah, this is weird. Oh, things have gotten really weird. We started off with a very dominant series at the hands of the Shanghai Dragons. They move up very quickly to 2-0 in like 40 minutes of playtime. That's counting breaks. Now we have a draw on our hands. It was looking so very rough. I mean, but here we are.
Also, that could have been a full hold. Can I just say, first and foremost, before the draw was even a conversation, LA Valley nearly full held the Dragons. So, before people get too deep in the source about like, oh, Shanghai Dragons, they threw blah, blah, blah. Remember, they nearly got full held. That nearly happened first. Yep. And I would argue that LA Valiant, it's almost like, I don't know if I saw a little bit of panic towards the end there, or maybe Shanghai just really, pulled up the britches towards the end. But that was, aside from the final fight on A, it was all LA Valiant. Huge clutch moments there. And I actually said I didn't think that Valiant were going to be clutch enough to win fights from behind. But then you see, good duplicates from Milan run, goes to Sigma, finds the Flux, all these kind of things. They're diving hard in the Shanghai supports. I think that I've actually cracked the code in terms of handling Shanghai as well, because when Molly and Lijiang are down like that, and maybe this is obvious to say, because any team that loses support is going to have a hard time, but over the course of June Joust so far, I'm seeing Lijiang die a lot more. And teams are very hard trying to focus him down, especially when he's on Mercy, and it's working. If they can keep putting pressure onto both Molly and Milan, and Molly's even on the bat, by the way, he throws an Immortality Field, and sometimes that's not even enough. So that's where LA Valiant is finding success.
Yeah, I mean, Lijiang, it's always kind of been, win by him, lose by him in his storied career. But yeah, a bit more of the deaths there. good stuff from Crystal as well. I got to say the Hangzhou swap, he was coming up with some really clutch kills with the Storm Arrows, you know, just picking people off, including Lijiang, because you're able to break down that brig barrier so very quickly with the Storm Arrows. So he had some wonderful pickoffs. And yeah, it was just a good team effort overall from the Valiant to keep this series going. So not out of it yet, obviously. That is not a map win for them. They're not any closer realistically to winning this series, to pulling off a reverse sweep, but they're delaying the Shanghai Dragons. They're keeping their hopes alive. Still going to be match point. So now we have to see how things are going to transpire as we get ready to move on to Numbani for our hybrid map.
Yeah, I get it. I understand what we're saying here. Basically, you know, I think the series has been extended for content, and I think that's worthy. That's a good reason to extend a
All
match.
about
you know,
the
you gotta get the content on there. You know, it's fine, guys. We're just drawing on Volskaya for content. That's what it's about at the end of the day, right? Could still be a 3-0. It could still be a 3-0, but we would be playing this one out over the course of 4 maps. We'll be looking out to see if there's any major compositional changes. I'm now of the opinion, by the way, and this is a bit of a meme, but maybe Silver 3 should just keep playing ball. If nothing, just a bait Flitter to constantly play Torb. And if that doesn't work, then Silver 3 can go back over towards Winston. But right now,
there you go.
Are we going to see Valiant move out with an actual Moira-based composition? Because we are maybe looking towards Lucio, something like that. Is that the type of comp we're looking to play? Numbani's a bit of a different map. Shanghai Dragons moving back onto, you know, the Fate Orisa, Echo Ash, pretty standard stuff. Molly's been playing a lot of BAP today, by the way. I actually think, you know, an Ana's good here, but the Ana does also say that Molly ends up only nanoing Flitter, which is not a bad thing. So it is interesting he's only doing the BAP.
Oh, straight off the bat, going in with the Doomfist, and Bait is just dead. Crystal absolutely farms the hell out of him. Rez going to be used. We don't see any follow-up yet, but that's already going to be a very nice cooldown to get taken away from the side of Shanghai with this aggressive start.
I don't even know how you
jumping
got
up onto the high ground. They get the ult onto him. The bubble comes out to give him a little bit of further protection and has to use the Mega Pack to keep himself alive. So just like that, we're right back into, you know, burning through the Winston territory. Does stay in the fight, at least for now. Fleta offering up some covering fires. They try to get the dive in on the lips. Crystal falling low, barely makes it into the bubble. But as he exits it, Fleta is ready. Strikes him down with the beam, follows up the sticky bombs on a Milan Ron, and that is going to be a halt here on this initial attack from the side of the Valiant. We can now reset in the spawn room and go back.
Let's see if they can maybe collect this kill into Flitter. Probably not. Void's going to be there pocketing. The entire team be watching over the body. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. That was nearly an excellent start again for the Valiant as Crystal moves over towards the Ash here. They're getting that initial frag over towards Fate, who is not at all expecting a Doomfist. Let's be honest, I wasn't even convinced we were really going to see a Doomfist, and then Crystal actually rolls out on that. If Lijiang doesn't get that res, I'm fairly confident that a tick maybe goes by. I'm fairly confident that 6v5 goes very well for the LA Valiant, where there's no Fate to deal with, no risk to deal with. And again, I don't know how Lijiang even gets that res, but that's pretty clutch, and that's one of the few moments as well where you have to look at that and say, yeah, you're glad Lijiang is able to do that.
It's one of those moments where you really wish, if you're the Valiant, that you had that split pressure coming up the main street, because, I mean, Lijiang can just safely sit behind the corner at the top of that stairwell and then get that res off. But if they had somebody playing up the front, then they might have been able to deny that res from coming through and then maybe take the point. Now back into the fight, though. Fleta comes up with yet another kill as Milanron has to try to reroute around the backside of the point to stay alive. But you can't fly that long if you're Echo. Seems like he has made it out to safety. As Void will take a quick little nap and gets a Rude Awakening. Duplicate's still going to be committed to the fight here despite Crystal being taken down. IB not going to be able to get this res here. Self-destruct going to be used by Void. The Baby Diva does get finished off as Milanron builds up for the remech. Not going to be able to find a kill yet. So Cheng now using a self-destruct of his own. Doesn't find anything. Makes it back into the mech safely. Fleta goes for the duplicate. Manages to copy on the Silver 3, jumps forward, gets the zaps coming through onto Ivy, pops the Primal Rage, goes diving in, looks to get the finish here. It's right up in front of the spawn and has to leap back out of there.
Actually costs Dragons a decent amount of ultimates there, so, you know, not really a free fight at all. That's maybe a silver lining for the LA Valiant, who wants to lose Silver 3 really quickly, and that's even with the nano boost, by the way. We kind of noted at this point, the only real way for Valiant to engage is you must have a nano to Silver 3. You got to keep him alive a little bit longer. He will have the primal now, finally. See, that ends up being enough. Excellent shot to Lijiang. Might get to catch that if they find a follow-up, but not going to happen, so they are going to find a decent amount of ultimates. LA Valiant on, what is that, nearly 5 ultimates could be good. Their only chance.
Crystal As he pushes to the corner just to get the bomb out, Fate manages to take him down. A little bit of an extra tag there from Lid, I do believe. Milanron, however, manages to find one, follows up for a second kill. The sticky bomb doing some serious work as Flooded gets eliminated. Lijiang tries to pull him back into the fight. Does manage to do so. Nano boost now going to be used. Milanron instantly takes Flooded down yet again, but look at the kill feed. It is just a Valiant getting absolutely farmed. Crystal swaps over onto the Reaper yet again, trying to make this one work. Not sure if they're going to find too much success. 14 seconds remaining. Somebody's going to have to touch the point. We are now going to be swapping over onto the Moira. Hybe's there with the Lucio as well, so they're just all in on trying to stay onto this point. This is going to prove to be rather difficult. They have to self-destruct to clear this.
This window's going to be excellent as well. They have nothing to play against the window. They've already lost Silver 3. I'm thinking that's probably going to be it.
It does seem so, unless we can see some major heroics. We got tagged up. The Reaper there on the point. Gets dinked, gets destroyed. Void finds the elimination, and that is going to be the full hold completed here on Numbani. Shanghai Dragons not looking to mess around anymore. No more draws. Well, I say that, but it is possible.
Hey man, if you want to draw, you guys want to draw for more content, it's in the air. It's possible. Putting that on the table. But that's the only option left for. It's the only option left for the Valiant right now. They got nothing except another draw, and they would still be another 0-2. That was a bit more of a tragic attack coming on in. I think Volskaya gave me a bit more belief that Valiant could pull something special. Valiant, to me, are the type of team, especially in this type of matchup, that really need the stars to align. Like, they need a very, in terms of attacking anyway, they need a very powerful early neutral fight win. For example, getting a free kill into Fate that doesn't get res. Now, that would have gone very well for them. You know, winning neutrals has been something they've been doing quite consistently now, especially when you look at Volskaya. They won both opening neutrals. And then snowballing that forward into a possible beat cap. Probably they don't get seed, realistically speaking, but then maybe we'll look towards another good A or B defense, maybe a good A defense from Valiant, and that's really their true path to victory. It's starting to become a bit of a problem now that even their, like, quote-unquote good composition, what they're currently playing on your screen right now, the Echo Ash, etc., and they're not finding success on that Nano Silver 3 anymore. That's when you're getting scared for them, because that was the only area they were finding success.
Well, now they need to find success on a very solid defense. A fuller hold is what has become necessary here for the Valiant if they want to keep the series going. And I, for one, am all in on the meme. I think we might as well just have them go ahead, hold this right here, and just jump into another map with still a 2-0 scoreline, because why the hell not? I think it would be hilarious.
Full 5 map, but we actually saw one of those. We got the Paris Washington game that went to 5 maps.
Yeah.
3-0, 2 draws. Not out of the question. Very different type of game though. As here, you know, I think Shanghai definitely want to clean this one. Amazing damage straight off there.
Oh, he keeps getting so okay. Not even the intended
They got a race, they got a race.
Silver 3! He just intercepts it with his skull. The res does come through from Hybe. Milanron now, though, so very low. Flooded gets the beam kill in onto Crystal. It seems like the turnaround fight is going to be decent here for the Valiant. A Silver 3 comes back with a vengeance. And almost gets punished yet again. He's so very low. Lip pushes the high ground, finds him. Storm Arrow headshot in onto Milanron. And just like that, they're on the point. They almost have this cap coming through. Bionade will stave off Lip for just a little bit longer as they take their time. They know that they very much have time on their side. Valiant
doesn't have nano,
scrambling to get back over onto the point. Pressure coming through. They're looking for Hybe, and they manage to find the kill. Void follows up, finishing him off. Dragon Strike now available. Going to be lobbed in as they lose out on the mech, trying to commit in for the self-destruct, which does not manage to find anything from Shocheng there on the point. Booyah going to be dead. Can't get the nano boost online. Silver 3 eliminated. It seems like this is going to be the end of it right here, Avril. As they drop down Crystal.
I think so.
Dead to the self-destruct. They've got the point. They put their foot down. They say, enough of the shenanigans. No more draws in my house. Shanghai Dragons do take this series 3-0 and a little bit of extra on the side.
A good round of maps coming through, a good bit of exercise to get your very new player, who are you, out there on map number 1, and giving Molly a full day of game as well, you know, just giving them all 4 maps in there. Not the most comfortable we've ever seen, the Shanghai Dragons. I wouldn't freak out too much though if you're a Dragon supporter. This is still a 3-0. doesn't look super clean. I'd be probably more concerned about the 0-3 versus the Hangzhou Spark, but I think the Shanghai Dragons will move on from this, and maybe they'll go back to their standard lineup. Nothing against Molly, but Iziaki has been playing out of his mind as well. You had Who Are You in there, just trying him out to see what Who Are You is going to be able to do. And Valiant, where they looked reasonable, a lot of that was also down to the fact that Valiant did some okay things, especially on Volskaya. Numbani's a completely different case. I think Numbani, Valiant really dropped the ball there. They looked far more lost, or perhaps Dragons really just figured them out. Dragons were way more on top of Valiant on that specific map. I think the draw coming through probably really put the Shanghai Dragons into full serious mode, and when they went to Numbani, I mean, they played that one no holds barred.
Yeah, and it seems like, time and time again, they were really figuring out exactly how the Valiant was trying to approach these different fights, and they were able to shut them down time and time again. Weird situation with Volskaya, the Torbjorn. Again, I have to scratch my head about that one, Fleta. I don't know about that, but let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match for this series. It's been a long time since we've seen him. He comes out, he plays every single map. It is Molly who gets the honor today as our player of the match, so congratulations on your return.
Absolutely, and Molly was a player that I think a lot of people towards the end of last year in Chengdu Hunters had a lot of great things to say about. What a huge long-range sleep in the Wuya. I think I remember seeing that one on like the HUD, but not quite sure how that even happened. Hit a lot of nice plays here. I think without a doubt that Molly's best hero has been Anna throughout his career. So seeing him play a lot of BAP today was quite interesting, because that maybe that was a team decision. There was a lot of BAP gameplay, but you're seeing these highlights here, and to be fair, we didn't see a lot of Molly POV, so it was hard to even get a bit of a gauge on where his mechanics were. But just looking at it now, I mean, clean sleep darts, clean skill shots around the board, and a powerful player that fans have been waiting to see. And here you go, Coach Moon's put him on the field for you, and he did well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems maybe this is going to be, a trend moving forward, at least through the June Joust, while we do have the Zenyatta taken away. Maybe they want to have Iziaki as the kind of Baptiste Zenyatta player, and then when, Ana is going to be a lot more prevalent, have Molly go in and play the Ana, and then the Baptiste when it becomes more relevant. So either way, it was really good. We take a look at his BAP stats right there, 21,000 healing done throughout the map. Just overall, really solid. 9 deaths prevented with those immortality fields as well. So it was a really good return from him. The Ana looked clean as hell, and good way to come back in, I think, after a long time away. Put on a performance like that. Remind everybody, like, yeah, you know what? I'm still here, and I am still playing, at the highest level. So really good return for Molly.
I think this is a good time for Dragons to kind of flex their subs as well, to make sure that versus a team they're probably quite confident in beating, like the LA Valiant. You give Who Are You a go, put Molly on there, give them the entire string of things as well. Have Fleta in for safety, because LA Valiant still were kind of competing there despite not getting a map when the draw is actually pretty reasonable. I mean, you're kind of clutching at straws here, right? It's like, well, what can you say about Valiant to try and give them a little bit to work with? But another match that doesn't go their way. So that's the end of Valiant, at least for today. We're going to see them tomorrow. But there's a question behind the scenes where I think a lot of people have been also talking about, where most people are happy with Shanghai. They will lose at least one match early in a qualifier, apparently 0-3. Last time was Chengdu, now it's Hangzhou, but they're probably going to qualify. But Valiant are one of the 3 teams next to London and also Titans who haven't won a single match yet. Valiant probably weren't going to win this one. So still out there, who's going to get their first match first between those 3 teams? Yeah.
It's a race to get that first win on the board. We'll see who's going to be able to do it, in the coming weeks. But for now, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, Avril and myself will break down a little bit more of that action here from our first series of the night with our crunch time. So do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, wild would be absolutely crazy. So, oh, there we go.
Yeah, so it was
you know
wild.
what?
I was muted.
Oh, Seth,
There we
you got it. Well done. Oh, welcome to Game Break presented by Game Break Crunch. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Crunch Time Game Break presented by Cheese and Groups. What order does it go in? It's upside down. Look, at least I said the thing. It's fine. We're here.
There you go.
And what are we here to talk about? I guess something I wanted to touch on, Seth, is kind of what we ended on before we went towards the break, which is that you have 3 teams currently in the Overwatch League for the current 2021 season that are still winless. They've not won a single match versus any opponent. That is Titans, Spitfire, and the Valiant, and we're still wondering, which of these 3 teams are going to get their win first. And because, we're obviously covering the Eastern region in APAC here, we're looking over towards the Valiant. We just saw the Valiant. Let's talk about Valiant a little bit soon. Can they maybe do it with June Joust? How the hero pool is kind of affecting them. We kind of had this conversation earlier of like, yes, you've lost Milanron's ability to carry on the Tracer, but so has every other team. And importantly, for a team like Valiant, you probably don't want to face a Tracer like Lips Tracer here. The reason why we're looking at this right now is this specific composition is, especially with Ashe and Echo, plus Winston, Diva, Mercy, and Ana, especially the Ana-Winston combo, I think is super important for a team like the LA Valiant, where their only real success today was in those neutrals and in, those very early skirmishes where they can find a timing, get the nano boost onto a Silver 3, allow him to live for an extended period of time, give that time over to Crystal Malaran to convert some kills over, possibly focus that damage to Lijiang and Molly, stuff like this as well, early conquer the Molly just to get him off. That's kind of where LA Valiant are going to find the success, and I think this is going to be their best comp moving forward. Really, what else? I don't know what else they can really bring to the table that's going to be as good as this, because Crystal on a sniper hero like the Ashe is going to be where his biggest output is. You have to play Echo, I think, currently in this meta. Echo is just far too good not to play, so Malaran's going to be playing on that. And then for everybody else, it's about buying that time and buying that space for Crystal and Malaran to get the job done. Silver 3's been a big target today, so anything they can do to keep Silver 3 alive is going to be important. So for LA Valiant, all their future matches for the June Joust qualifiers, I think are going to have to be built around this type of composition.
Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of concerns me a bit is, the allocation of resources, I guess, for the side of the LA Valiant. Because it seemed like they were doing a lot to try to enable Milanron today, and that worked out really, really well. He looked better than he ever has, I would say. Maybe a couple times when he was, playing the Tracer and really popping off. But I think as far as consistency is concerned, this is the most consistent that he has looked so far this year. But they put a lot into Milanron to find success, and then Silver 3 just, starts getting bodied left, right, and center. Every single time he puts his head out there, Lip is clicking him, he's destroying him. So I'm curious as to whether or not they can find the balance where they're allocating enough resources to Milanron to make sure that he can pop off, that he can find these picks, but that they're also keeping Silver 3 alive. And I think if they can strike that balance, then sooner rather than later, we should be seeing the Valiant be able to pick up that win. But it's about whether or not they can do it. That's going to be the big question. So we'll have to keep our eyes trained on the LA Valiant, on the Titans as well, and and the Spitfire to see which of these 3 teams is going to be able to get that win first. Who's going to be the last one left out to dry? But that's going to do it, I think, for our crunch time here, presented by Cheez It Grooves. We're going to go to another little quick break, but when we come back after all night, we're sticking around. We're going to be bringing you the action here for NYXL versus Seoul Dynasty. This is a match you do not want to miss, so do not go anywhere. Don't do it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.
Postal up might be looking for the opportunity. Profit out of the fight! And New York finding the picks with the Mostoa.
I mean, they want to fight like this at the end of point A. Looks like they're going to win a fight like this at the end of point B as well. The stick on the gesture seals the deal.
93 low self-destruct coming in. Duplicate over as the self-destruct catches Friday, and Seoul have found a way through.
Seoul trying to just live out through this last bit of overtime. They will do just that and claim the first point.
Here's the engage already. Profit with the nano boost, with the blink completely shut down. A great response by New York. They back up, they deal with Profit. Yeah.
Well, the res. Open Animo gives his life to res gesture.
Profit still going in. He doesn't care.
He don't care. That's right.
It's still enough.
3. Perfect gets 4. Yeah, I think we've got a really good one started here. Seoul Dynasty and NYXL coming at you.
Alrighty, we are back. It's time to jump into our next matchup, our final matchup of the evening. In fact, it's going to be a fairly quick day here, unless these guys can drag this out to a 5-map series. And you know what? I'm down for it. Already had a draw on the 1 map. Got 4 maps. Let's just go for 5. Let's keep pushing the envelope here so we get ready to go in for NYXL versus Seoul Dynasty. And this is, another one of those series now, based on how things have evolved so far in the June Joust outworld, that I really don't know which way it's going to go.
It's hard to say because we haven't seen Seoul play at all. We don't know what their read on the meta is going to be. They have had a full week extra to kind of look at the other teams and observe both NA and APAC in terms of what teams are going towards. And New York, they've had a kind of 50-50 start where they got a huge upset win versus Philadelphia, but then they got upset, maybe not upset, but they lost to Guangzhou Charge, who are a struggling team as well.
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty big upset, and that, absolutely destroyed my pick'em. Speaking of pick'ems, if you guys haven't filled it out yet, look at the bottom of your screen right there. Head over to overwatchleague.com and see if you can beat my high score of, I think it was 100 points.
What is it?
It was like 104 points at the end of the May Melee. Right now, I actually haven't looked as far as how I'm doing. I don't even know. I don't know if I locked in for this week.
What do you think you're on? Just say a number.
Oh, it's not good.
What do you think you're on right now? I can tell you your total points. I'm looking at it right now on my screen. I don't know what you are for June Joust, but overall you're on 111 for the entire thing. I'm on 98. So there you go. At home, you can compare yourself. Have you defeated the Senator? Have you caught up to me? I'm only 2 behind Custer, by the way, who's on 100. Bren's on 106, tied with the Reinforce. So those guys are doing reasonably well. Somehow you've managed to cheat and get all the way to 111. Look, just be honest. You want the Widowmaker statue. All right, it's possible. We'll see if you get that one. Shipped all the way to you.
It would be nice. I don't have that stat. I actually don't have any of the Overwatch statues other than the Soldier 76 Collector's Edition. But enough about my pick'ems and whatnot. But best of luck in your guys's. Let's focus in on this series because this could be a tight one. We haven't seen Seoul Dynasty compete yet here in the June Joust. This is going to be our first look at them and seeing how they are adapting to the meta. I think the Reinhardt being removed is going to be overall pretty good for them, given that Gesture's proficiency on both the Orisa and the Winston. But looking in on Profit, Echo continues to be super prevalent as a DPS pick, and he is leading in many a metric.
I think Seoul are happy with this particular hero pool because not that they don't want to play Tracer. Profit would love to play Tracer, don't get me wrong, but his Echo has been really impressive, especially this year over May Melee, and right now, this is a very important meta, I think, for Echo, which is also, how we saw New York Excelsior defeat Philadelphia Fusion as well, because Rascal kind of refused to play a lot of Echo there. He was mainly on a Reaper, and then you had Feather, who's doing quite well on the Echo. So Profit versus Feather today is going to be a really interesting battle. Profit's had some really good stats. You know what he's up against. He's up against a rookie, and Profit's, one of the I would say best players that we have in the entire league. So a bit of weight on his shoulders. Gesture gets to play a little bit more if he wants to. Obviously the Winston, he's got that Roadhog in the back pocket though, Seth. We all know about that one. Haven't seen too much Roadhog in the APAC region. We saw a little bit today when Silver 3 was playing that Hog on Volskaya, but beyond that, Hog has been mostly absent. It's actually been pretty absent from NA as well. And then Fitz gets to play the standard Ashe gameplay. Animo should be looking to pocket Profit on towards the Mercy, and beyond that as well, I think it's a pretty standard lineup for the Seoul Dynasty where this meta should be good for them.
Yeah, we also get to see Marvel, which is another person that we, don't get to see that often. Going through May Melee was very much going to be 2U there, backing up Gesture in the front line. On the other side, we do have the NYXL, Flora, Feather, Yakpung, Bianca, Jonek, and Friday. So nothing too shocking here as far as the lineup is concerned. Question is, can they find that consistency? Can they find that groove where they're able to take down the Fusion, or do we get the NYXL that lost the hands of the Guangzhou Charge? Time will tell, as well as what these teams are going to be running as we do get ready to hop into map number 1 here for our final series of the day. And kicking things off, we will be heading to Oasis for Control.
A very important game as well, where Jonak will be playing a lot of Ana for sure. Feather is in as their main Echo player. Previously in May Melee, you saw pretty much only Flora Ivy. A little bit of, I think maybe Guangzhou played a couple of games. I don't think Feather played at all. You'll actually notice it in YXL's previous game. They had both Ivy and Guangzhou coming in for, I believe it was a Genji Widow was their composition for that DPS lineup, maybe on Dorado. So the possibility of seeing those two other DPS coming on through is there as well. But yeah, a talking point here is going to be Marvel on the Sigma. I don't know whether this is something fans are going to be excited about, or maybe they're cringing really hard right now. They are not happy about this, because Seoul was kind of promising like a 2U flex tank, and here we go. Marv 1 back in action. Let's hope he performs at a Marv 2 standard today.
All right, well, already, Prophet starting off on the May, Feather taking to the skies with that Pharah, just laying down some covering fire here with those rockets. There's Marvel just without these left clicks, steadily building up towards this flux. Jonak in the meantime, however, with all this chip damage that's coming through, he's able to surge forward towards a Nano boost, so we could see a very fast flip attempt coming through here for the NYXLs. The Nano is now online. Waiting for his target. It's going to be going forward onto Feather, actually. Obviously, the Barrage not going to be available. They do get rid of the Immortality Field. He gets himself in behind the Sigma for just a moment, but Marvel was able to push forward.
Line.
It's a melee hit to finish off Yakpung. Now Flora going to be gone. Fitz takes out Feather. There is the Flux. Drops him back down to the ground. Rock in onto 2. Cleanup's going to be coming through. Flora does manage to find a Namo. That's as good as it gets here at the start for the NYXL. Seoul Dynasty maintained control of the point, now up above 33%.
Excellent handling of the pressure being exerted coming through from the NYXL side as well. Fast Nano boost directly on towards Feather. Damage being done by the fire, but Marvel just has that umbrella up. He's got the damage, he's got the flux. They're going to get a 45% lead, I think, roughly, on this opening cap as well. And not a lot more ultimates coming online from York Excelsior for at least a little bit. Looking to find an entrance here. Staying on their standard dive, and NYXL haven't really changed up their lineup too much in terms of compositions. They played pretty much only Winston Diva in their last week of gameplay in the June Joust.
Gesture quite low. That's going to be the Immortality Field used but here by Creative. Barrage getting ready to be online. Nano Boost again is going to be invested here on a Feather, but now Bianca going to be gone. So if he does get this Barrage, they do not have that D-Matrix to try to cover him. Get that added protection through. He's going to be waiting out here for the moment.
Early Sound Barrier.
Inching their way onto the point. Yeah, Sound Barrier off the bat. Now the Deadeye comes in. Fitz does manage to find Friday, and that's just going to be the one fight. The Barrage gets committed, but the flashbang is instantly there from Fitz. Stops it right in its tracks. And NYXL, they're going to have to swap something up here, I feel, if they want to try to get onto the point. 90% now remaining. Yakpung still waiting to respawn. Does have that Primal Rage, but again, he might just need to pop this just a touch.
This is going to be rough. Yeah, I think Primal Rage is going to have to be played here for sure. Feather on this fire has just not been working out either. It's an instant demag, and this is going poorly.
Yeah, Yakpung having to exit off the side of the point. Feather getting tagged up, falling lower and lower. The right clicks coming in. Prophet looking to wall them off. The Blizzard maybe just never having to be used. The Sleep will connect in onto him, but Fitz is there for the alley-oop. But yeah, Prophet doesn't need the Blizzard. It's no problem. It's 100% to 0 for the Dynasty to start on Oasis.
And I look at that comp coming through from Seoul as well, and I'm thinking it's not even super ideal. I'm not sure why the May is even being played. I can, obviously there are some good applications there, has some good anti-dive pressure, combo that up with Fitz on towards the McCree, it's pretty decent. But, Prophet could have just been playing Echo there if he wanted to as well. I don't know. It ends up being more than good enough. Great map for Marvel as well. That's really good gameplay coming through, specifically when you're looking towards the Sigma stuff. But as we move over towards City Center, I don't know if my eyes see him, but Gesture was hovering over the Diva for a second. Now he's gone towards the Hog, and this is going to be kind of Seoul playoffs last year in 2020, where it's Gesture Hog coming out once more. Fitz and Flora both locking in the Soldier.
This could be very interesting, a very unique setup here from the side of the Dynasty. Flora matching with the Soldier up on the high ground so far. Dynasty not really revealing themselves too much. Marvel comes swinging around the center here of the point. Looking for a target as Gesture does the same.
What's
Gonna be
attack?
online. Gets tagged up quite a bit. Hook instantly blocked by the bubble. Good timing there from Yakpung. Denying that pull away, and Fitz is going to be the first one to be eliminated. As Feather follows up for 2, knocking down both the Soldier and that Wrecking Ball now. Jester going to be taking a nap, and it seems like he might be staying there permanently as he continues to take quite a bit of damage, and Jonak will manage to follow up for the kill. That will net NYXL the first cap of the point.
Excellent damage up by Feather as well, but you have to really credit Jonak here. He's well ahead of Creative in terms of nano boost charge. Beyond that as well, I think Jonak's going to be very important in this matchup because there's no shields available for Seoul at all. One sleep dart onto either Gesture or Marvel, and then committing a Bionet that hits either or both of them is incredibly powerful. That's what you need. The only thing that NYXL have to be careful about is you got to make sure Yakpung doesn't get hooked in by Gesture. If you can keep him safe and make sure no one just dies to Gesture's hook, this should be a pretty simple matchup for NYXL.
Well, right around the back there is Feather, manages to find Creative. One support going to be gone, traded out for a DPS as Prophet finds Flora. Both of these Echoes pretty darn close to having those duplicates online, but Fitz, he has his ult ready, pops that attack visor, finds Bianca, knocking him out of the back after taking down Jonak. That support's gone. And Seoul Dynasty off the back of this play should be able to get this flip coming through. Yakpung just going to be sticking around, zapping him down, trying to build up for the Primal Rage. Makes it within a percentage of having that online. We'll have it for the next fight, but in the meantime, Seoul Dynasty will go ahead and snatch this up.
Really good shutdown on both NYXL supports there as well, you know, specifically getting rid of Friday and his Valkyrie, that's important. It's been committed onto Flora just to keep the numbers available for NYXL is, but a catch-up now required for the Seoul Dynasty. Look at where Gesture's going to be starting out on for this now defensive part is going to be important as well because you need to see what kind of angles Gesture's going to work for to get these hooks in. I don't know if he's really landed too many important hooks just yet, but that is going to be a big part of Seoul Dynasty's game plan.
Good spot there by Feather, just trying to keep his eye on where Marvel's at. And yeah, Jester, he manages to find the hook, takes out Yakpung. And that is the Primal Rage again, not going to be able to be used in the fight. Marvel falling so very low. Hook going to be interrupted. They're going to pull in onto Gesture. That baits out the nano boost. He instantly pops that one, pops the whole hog, gets the kill on the Jonak, even at that range. That amplified damage just does so much work. Marvel in the meantime just causing havoc in the back line. Hook, pull in, they find Flora. Prophet is there for the alley-oop, beams him down, interrupting the attack visor, ensuring they find absolutely no value from it whatsoever. Another hook onto Bianca, takes him low, but they cannot get him out of the mech. It's Flora has to swap over onto the McCree.
I thought it was a weird time to use the tech visor anyway. Maybe Flora wanted to swap anyway, so he's going to go over towards the McCree. Find a way to be able to brawl a little bit more tighter, have some counterplay versus Marvel on the ball as well. But this is the sort of situation where you can see that Seoul's kind of coordination, keeping Gesture alive with the hog, is still there from the playoffs. They're going for Gesture again, but I don't know if they can kill him.
Yeah, they just can't get him low enough for the beam to find any value. Now the attack visor is out. Fitz getting pushed forward by the Primal Rage. Just puts him right in range of Friday. Gets that kill before getting eliminated by Yakpung, but it seems like that's going to be the only kill that they can find on the back end of that ult. Rez comes through as well for Fitz, just for good measure. So we're at 97%. Yakpung jumping over to the side. They do manage to touch. They do manage to force that OT as Bianca plays up on top of the point, but that's going to be the duplicate now. As Prophet beams him down out of the mech. The self-destruct is turned up by a little bit of time. The rockets flying through will not manage to get the kill, but Prophet, he's got the self-destruct ready to go. He's going to send it right into the back, looking for Jonak. Doesn't manage to find it. Jonak actually is going to be the one finding a kill as Marvel does get taken down. Fitz with the Helix rockets. It's the elimination on the floor. The whole hog coming through. It's the kill onto Yakpung. A good pull from downtown. Drags Gesture forward. Feather does manage to get the kill here onto Gesture. Trying to make this happen. 99%. Feather going for the hook. The sleep dart from Creative going to be good. Keeps himself out of harm's reach. Keeps himself alive. But the flip is there for NYXL.
Yeah, brilliant copy from Feather. Gets the most important target as well. Gesture has been such a problem for the NYXL to deal with. So Feather copies the hog, gets the hook onto him, confirms a kill, and then suddenly they get to convert onto Further. Great opening Bionet from Jonak. That's going to allow the nano boost to come on through. And the catch-up could certainly be there. I think NYXL can definitely get a 99% here. One big nano, probably onto Yakpung, you'd imagine. Should give them that opening. Rally is going to be huge in the next fight as well. And you've kind of run out of ultimates for the Seoul Dynasty at a very critical time.
They almost conceded the point for free there. But Marvel taken down off the start of the fight. Gesture taking a breather, staying alive, but they have to wait for the Wrecking Ball to come back in. This is precious time fought here for the side of NYXL as they look to extend us into a third and final round on Garden. Only the Valkyrie available at the moment. Great sleep start, the Bionet comes in, they press forward, they get the kill. And Ambo's going to be popping the Valkyrie now, likely looking for the res. You can see them cheating around that side of the wall. trying to keep that corpse protected. Yakpung in the meantime eliminated. The res now coming through. Gesture put right back into the fight, but Marvel is taken down. The Bionade from Jonak finds the finishing blow. Gesture trying to stay alive, but just cannot do so. Flora manages to get the elimination. Prophet with the duplicate now. With this Diva is trying to stay alive, but he is all on his lonesome. They will stun him up. He's trying to get that self-destruct online, but he does not manage to do so. Maybe Diva going to be broken down. They get the elimination here on to the Echo. Marvel rolling through, nearly has the minefield, but will be dead before he can use it. And that is 199% on the round. As NYXL, they fight back, and they will be taking us to a third and final round here on Oasis.
That was a beautiful turnaround for NYXL. Props to Jonak, props to Feather, having the ability to shut down Gesture specifically. I mean, we talked about the fact that Jonak was going to be important here. You need to be landing the skill shots specifically onto Gesture, get rid of this hog. And at the start of City Center there, it didn't feel like Gesture's threat level was that high. You know, he wasn't finding these crazy hooks, really putting the pressure on NYXL. But in that middle portion of the submap play, he was landing everything. You have to really put some resources into getting Gesture down, but he wasn't killable. And it does remind me a lot of last year's playoffs, where Gesture on the hog would get low, he'd get boosted up by a nano boost, would get hard-pocketed by everything, and was just unkillable lane tank. So the fact that Jonak destroys him right towards the end, then Flora gets a kill after the res, super important. Gesture is going to stay on the hog, and Seoul Dynasty going to run it back with the same comp.
See how this fares this time around. Going to poke out here at the beginning. Prophet finding too much yet. Sticky bombs into the back of the Yakpung. Beam, however, out from Feather, and that's going to be Gesture gone. Marvel with a pile driver does manage to find Flora. Feather suppressed up close and personal there with Prophet. Pulls back away from the fight for a little bit.
Oh,
but the Bionade is absolutely huge. Managed to find 4. Marvel with another pile driver just took out Friday, but he gives his life for it after the res comes through. Hanamura now using a res of his own. It's a wrecking ball right back into the fight. Friday just now respawning. They would love to have him for this fight, but it will be the Dynasty controlling the point here at the start. Prophet getting so deep. Does manage to take out 2 before he falls. The rest of the Dynasty will be there for the cleanup, but it seems like the NYXL are going to have to go for a reset.
And it feels like the NYXL never really recovered from Creative's Bionade as well. Splashes on towards 4. They really struggled to get the healing in there. And Seoul, they pull the trigger. They get the cap. They run into the side room. They collect the kill. Prophet gets 2. And this is after Jonak has another brilliant start. Lands a sleep dart on towards Gesture. Lands a Bionade as well. Feather gets the kill. It's a 6v5. But the res is going to be, you know, applied. Seoul Dynasty will find the counterplay. They get another huge lead, 45% and counting up. This is pretty massive. Look at the ultimates about to be online. Nano boost for Creative just around the corner with Busan.
Taking a couple shots now. It's going to be the attack visor out. Prophet finds Yakpung. That's going to be the bubble gone. Have to rely on that D Matrix to try to keep him alive. Fitz, seeing that he was about to bite off more than he could chew. Just decides to pull back away. Prophet in the meantime letting loose with the self-destruct. Everybody gets forced back around the corner into the bottom stairwell. They do stay safe. Friday, however, barreled over as Marvel comes crashing through to make another play here. Rolls up over the top. I'm not even sure how he got that amount of elevation. But it's an impressive showing so far from Marvel. A little bit day and night compared to Silver 3 as far as the Wrecking Ball play is concerned.
You'd hope so. You'd hope the Seoul Dynasty were probably outperforming you know, that performance so far, and they certainly are. 90% being found here. Nano boost being applied on the Flora. Yakpung's just going to have to go to the primal.
Yeah, they're just trying to bully Gesture. Just dip back around the corner. Deadeye now going to expire, as does the Nano. Yakpung, however, with the primal range, does find Bits. Phantom the Hammer. Marvel going to be taken out. Gesture goes in with the whole hog, but look at his HP bar just absolutely vanished. Feather counteracts him. Rips him to shreds, and Creative gets pushed over the edge. 99% might be on the board here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, but it's the NYXL of control of the point.
Oh yeah, they had the ultimate play there for, especially Fitz going down was a nice entry frag. A small little play there, a couple, fight and a half ago there I want to highlight is Friday actually used his shield bash to kind of stun Prophet self-destructing mech. That stopped the mech from flying further inwards. That would have probably killed this team, so nice little mini play that we saw earlier on. Sleep on the Yakpung here just to keep him honest. Another good Bionade for Creative as well.
Slop goes through, getting good connections. The Feather is out of the fight right at the start. Prophet again with the duplicate goes straight in for Bianca time and time again. The self-destruct going up into the stairwell. They come crashing through. The setup is absolutely beautiful, and Prophet finds 3. As that is the Dynasty wresting control away from NYXL. Bianca tries to turn it back around with a self-destruct of his own, but Attack Visor is there. They finish him off. It's an absolutely gorgeous, explosive way to finish out the round, and that is going to be the Seoul Dynasty taking map number 1 as Oasis goes their way.
And no shield bash from Friday this time, unfortunately, to stop the self-destruct from flying on in. It will collect as due a 3-pointer, being shot by Prophet from half court there. And it's going to sink themselves into the lead, 1-0 here. I really got to highlight Creative, who hit so many excellent bio nades coming through from his Ana gameplay that really set his team up well. That opening one with the 4, hitting 4 players in YXL in that neutral, that absolutely gives Seoul Dynasty so much working room to get that first fight underway and to have that early advantage.
Yeah, still good fighting back there from the side of the NYXL, keeping things close throughout these 3 rounds. We'll see how they fare as we get ready to come back for our second map of the set. So don't go anywhere, guys. I believe we have Junkertown coming up next, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back. It's already been a pretty action-filled first map between the NYXL and the Seoul Dynasty, the latter of whom have managed to come out on top after 3 rounds were played on Oasis. But it's still looking pretty tight here, Avril. I mean, this very much still could go any way. Control, you never really know what to expect from Control. That's where, you know, lesser teams can conquer better ones. So this still very well could end up being an incredibly close series.
And I'm starting to be a bit more of a believer in the Seoul Dynasty lineup in terms of playing both Gesture and Marvel at the same time. I'm seeing that from the aspect of Sigma coming through on Marvel was really good to see on our University. And then, you know, we look towards, you know, Hog and Ball. That was a pretty strong composition, especially Gesture on the Hog is going to be one of his key picks. And he really made it work. So as we move to Junkertown, historically has been a decent map for Hog. If you want to play Orisa Hog, I do wonder, can you maybe get away with a Ball Hog here again? Is there going to be enough space to play there? Are you going to be suffering due to the fact that it's too open? Guangzhou could be coming in for the side of NYXL. You could be a heavy sniper map. I don't think you would want to go into Junkertown with no shield, so that's probably going to be my biggest question there. It is Guangzhou is going to come in for floor, which says to me, Widowmaker straight away, that's going to be a strength for NYXL. So they got to tackle that.
Yeah, we also have Ivy stepping in here for NYXL. No changes to be seen thus far on the side of the Seoul Dynasty, so just going to be sticking through with a lot of the same. But yeah, I mean, Guangzhou, that's a very dangerous prospect to, to be going up against, especially if he wants to come out with the Widowmaker or the Ashe. Either way, it's going to be excellent for him as the hit scan player. And then Ivy as well. I mean, I think of Ivy, I think of Genji. we've been seeing a decent amount of Genji over in North America. I mean, especially from the side of the the Dallas Fuel, they love to run that anytime they can put Sparkle on it, or even the Doomfist. So Ivy, he fits very much a similar mold. Maybe they want to have that just long-range hit scan and then have somebody just causing havoc in the back line. So we'll have to see exactly what they have ready to to be pieced together here as we get ready to go into Junkertown. But I, for one, am very excited.
I think his options are going to be Echo Genji for sure. Echo being a forefront pick for obvious reasons. Echo's been very powerful in the meta. Beyond that, the last time, or in the last two matches that we have seen NYXL play, specifically NYXL's kind of MO here in terms of how they're handling the 4 DPS is they've kind of split their 4 DPS into 2 duos now. So you have Guangbong and Ivy on one side, and then Flora and Feather on the other end, and now they're subbing the other 2 DPSs, and we have already seen a Widowmaker Genji kind of combo coming through from GB and Ivy here. So that could be on the card. So I think the Genji could be played, especially if Hog is going to be on the menu again for Gesture. The Genji deflex, some good plays there could be pretty interesting. But notably, this is going to be potentially a great map for Guangbong. If there are not going to be any shields being played, that's where a player like Guangbong on that Widowmaker is going to find a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick through and it's, the hog and the ball, then that's going to be, phenomenal for them. But you would also anticipate that there's going to be a quick swap. I mean, already Gesture and Marvel have, they showed us the Sigma, which is really great at shutting down the Widowmaker in particular, the Ashe as well. Just the more shields that you have, the better for dealing with her. So, I mean, this could end up going into even double shields if Guangbong is proving to be a big issue for them. So they could make those minor adjustments throughout this map. We'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. Seems like we're still waiting on the players to get loaded up into the lobby. That's why we haven't been able to jump straight into Junkertown. But once we have them ready to go, you bet your sweet bums that we are going to be jumping right back in because, I, for one, I don't really want to stop with the action. It's kind of keeping me alive at the moment. I had a major swing in my sleep schedule over the last 24 hours. So the more action that we have, the better energized I'm going to be. I already was able to crack a single energy drink, and I don't really want to have to go for a second one. Don't have any coffee. So, I just want to be fueled by pure gameplay.
I'll say this as well. Speaking of fuel here, and I'm not talking about the Dallas fuel. It sounded like I was doing a transition to Dallas fuel. No, you got baited by that. I'm actually going to be talking about, maybe a bit of fuel coming through from the Vengeance side of things. You look at Jonak, he's playing against ex-teammates here. Animo's on the other side. Sebelby's on the bench as well. Animo's doing, Jonak actually is doing a bit of a revenge tour of the APAC region. He's taking down the Philadelphia Fusion. And I don't know if you remember, but they had that kind of the Apex-style trash talk video segment beforehand, where they had Toby and everybody in there, and the NYXL squad, and a lot of words exchange. And what I found kind of beautiful about that is, obviously, there's a lot of rookies on the NYXL side, so they don't have as much ammo to use. And there are, you have the Korean culture thing as well, where you have some hardcore veterans on the other side, like Mano and Toby are some of the oldest players in the league. I think Toby's actually the oldest player currently in the Overwatch League now at 27, 28, something like that, around there. He's the oldest next to Linksa, who's 2 months younger than him, somewhere in that region. So there was a lot more firepower from the Fusion side. Also, because Fusion were on a 4-0 streak. I mean, they were like top tier in the APAC region, like an absolute favorite next to Dragons. And then NYXL got this crazy upset win. And from there, now you have kind of Jonak realizing that kind of revenge where, even you look on Twitter, he had the Mano, you happy kind of thing afterwards as well. So here we go. Next target for Jonak on that, it's going to be Animo. Going to be Sebelby, even though Sebelby's not playing.
Yeah. Not yet. I'm sure we'll see him pop up at some point. Just waiting for the right moment. I like to think that he's just kind of sitting in the hyper... just sitting in the hyperbolic time chamber getting ready.
To me, it would have to be some sort of like Reaper composition, but even then, I'm sure Fitz could just play it. There's no Tracer. Tracer being removed from the hero pool is probably the biggest blow to the possibility of seeing Sebelby. But Seoul have been finding success with where they have been so far. I'm just going to look over comps real quick. So yeah, Genji, Widow from NYXL, not unexpected. Pretty standard supports across the board. No Pocket though, so there's not going to be any Mercy. The Brig's going to be there to maybe put some pressure into Marvel. I guess there's not great pocket heroes here. You would just be pocketing Guangbong on the Widowmaker, and a lot of main supports don't actually do that. They would just play the Brig instead.
All right, well, with the time ticking down, here we go, moving forward. And as mentioned, Ivy with the Genji, Prophet. Now we're going to be swapping over onto the Echo, just with the fact that there is that Widowmaker on the other side. See if he can play elusively enough to actually sneak up onto Guangzhou, get those executions, sticky bombs into the beam, try to take him out of the fight, or if he's just going to be fully reliant on Fitz to be able to get that headshot first.
Really important that GB also targets Animo here. I think Animo being the Mercy, getting rid of Animo will be absolutely huge. So see what kind of pressure we get here. Very early start and a good Bionade.
Oh, yeah, really good Bionade. It was returned onto 2, however, against the NY Excel, so Jonak does get traded out. But Ivy dashing through manages to find an ammo, so making it a bit of an eye for an eye as far as the supports are concerned. Get a nice little deflection, but not before Yakpung is eliminated. Then Prophet follows up for Friday. Guangzhou, however, 2 quick kills. Marvel and Prophet both eliminated, neither with headshots, so both just taken low, gets the body taps. And that's going to be the cart halted here in the initial choke, at least for the time being.
4 kills overall for the 2 DPS players, 2 apiece there. And that's what's going to give the capability for NYXL to stay in. Still have to wait for the rest of the respawners. They're going to lose space because we can see the payload is slowly moving forward. GB down, no res available. That's a 5v6.
Yeah, really good. Full stickies out there onto Yakpung, takes him down to about half HP. Sleep puts Prophet in no man's land. Pocket healing coming through, trying to keep him alive. Keep him up for a little bit longer there, but does end up falling in the end. Res potentially available. Could see that one come through, but the pressure's being applied, and Ivy finds the kill now onto Fitz. And Namo going to be eliminated as well. Self-destruct well into the back there from Bianca. Not really in a great position to try to find any kills, but at least forces position there onto the support members of the I was going to say the Shanghai Dynasty, the Seoul Dynasty. That's the lack of sleep catching up with me for just a moment, but see a very bloody back and forth battle happening here at the moment. Kills on either side, but it's very much going to be NYXL postured forward, holding this cart in position just in front of point A.
Yeah, the Shanghai Dynasty is the super team we have in our heads, where Prophet and Fleta can be on the same team and completely destroy everyone. But that only happens in my dreams. In reality, right now, what we're seeing is about 1 minute 40 remaining. Cap seems reasonably imminent, but there are still plenty of ultimates. Nanoblade is basically there, and Nanoblade should be used here.
Fitz is nano boosted right now, as is Ivy. Deflection going to be used, goes up into the air. He's trying to get the kill. Fitz goes off the side of the map. Okay, this is one of the weirdest sequences of events that I've ever seen happen in an Overwatch game. Shot from Guangzhou. He's looking for Prophet's head. Can't quite make it happen. Gesture now just going to be waiting to respawn. The cart, in the meantime, slowly being inched forward here by Marvel, but he's going to have to pull away from this as pressure gets ready to be applied. Prophet does have the duplicate ready. Sleep Dart comes through. Jonak going to be dead. The beam coming in. The supports just all corralled up into the same corner. Now eliminated as Bianca continues to dive forward despite having no backup whatsoever. Gets a health pack there for just a moment, but Prophet goes lunging forward. Manages to displace him, beams him down, getting rid of the baby diva, and the card can continue to advance. But there's only 40 seconds remaining. We'll see if there's going to be any kind of last-second contest here from the side of the NYXL. Minefield thrown down in advance of that. Now the whole hog from Gesture pushing forward. Beam coming through, they jump in. Ivy blown up by the mines, as is Yakpung. And that should be point A in the books here, as Marvel finds 3 on the back of his ult. Jonak is out in the middle of nowhere. And this whole first stretch of Junkertown has been a weird fever dream.
It certainly has, you know. I don't know what was going on there. The nano into Fitz, no idea what happened there. How does he fall off the map? Is that just rejection? Creative's like, would you like a nano? Fitz is like, I'm not really that keen. Creative's like, here's a nano. And Fitz is like, I'm going to jump off the map. I'm not keen on that at all. No, thank you. Take that back. So, don't know. There's like 3 people that went off the map there at the end as well. And then you have that end of the A fight. That's a little bit more normal. A lot of resetting on towards the mines. I'd like to believe that NYXL actually ran into some of those mines on purpose after they got the ultimates out. Obviously, the primary goal of retaking there is if you can't win, you're just going to try and bait out ultimates and then reset as fast as you can. Here's a big flank, though. Ivy's come out on a Doomfist, and he's been nanoed.
Yeah, nano comes in.
Oh,
Okay.
he slammed.
All right, well, good night, sweet prince. Guangzhou in the meantime, swapping over with that McCree. Does find Namo and follows up onto Prophet. Fitz going to be taken out, and so far it's only going to be the Cowboys that they can trade out on the side of the Dynasty. Ivy diving down, manages to find Creative, finishing him off with that left click to the dome. Gesture doing what he can, but it's not very much. And will be halted up, and not much time on the clock here for the side of the Dynasty. They need to get this moving pretty quickly, and it's a slow build for some of these ults. You know, getting that grab online, it certainly can take some time. So we'll see they're able to get that done. Prophet, in the meantime, contesting the cart, does have that duplicate available. And seems like he likes to go for Bianca, so could just see another diva.
There, you've also got Marvel now on Azari. He's actually been on Zarya for at least a fight here, but just to point it out because we hadn't brought it up yet, so that's a bit of a difference there as well. I think that was a hook on Yakpong. He's had to primal this one. Prophet's nearly dead.
Yeah, still Yakpong falling low, gets flashbang there for just a moment. Prophet does manage to go for Bianca. Unsurprisingly, now can create a decent amount of space with this self-destruct. Does he find another creative angle? Moves up onto that high ground. Instantly, he's going to get taken out, but the self-destruct does manage to find Jonex, so that's going to be a healer gone. Forces the self-destruct from Bianca as well. He takes him out of the mech. Flashbang. Oh, he sees it get used. The stickies are perfect. The Prophet follows up for the left-click kill. Now finds Ivy, who has taken a little bit of a nap. He'll remain on the ground. And just like that, off the back of a single self-destruct, this is going to be the Seoul Dynasty rolling through onto B. So salvaging the time bank as best as they possibly could. A minute gone from the last time I touched on it. Now they have just shy of 2 minutes to try to finish the map.
That's like one of the best Prophet highlight reels where he didn't even really get most of the kills there. So incredible. Just like he hit a lot of shots, but other people stole a bunch of kills. They will, like you said, have a bit of time remaining. I think the damage has been done from NY Excel. They've laid the timer down successfully. The question will be, can Seoul actually snowball? Because they weren't able to snowball B. They capped A, and then they got stopped up pretty quickly. Now, are they going to get stopped up again? Nano coming on through to Ivy, and he's got a meteor strike, but he's been slapped.
Oh, they're going to try to push through. His Prophet has swapped over onto the Reaper, but just like that, 2 members going to be gone. The meteor strike from Ivy finds Marvel, follows up for the punch into Fitz, getting that kill, and yeah, they're going to be held up. Jump up over the top, Ivy. I don't think you want this fight. He's going to slam against the wall. Man, that forward momentum with the ragdoll physics. Times are pretty scary. Prophet does manage to find one, building up over 40% now for this Death Blossom. With a minute left on the clock, is it going to be good enough? I mean, Dynasty lost out on so much. Exactly, the grab is not there.
That's going to be the problem. The Nano is, though. The Nano might have to go to Jesse here. He's reasonably low. And it's been a fight between Creative and Jonah to see who can be the better Ana today. Both have hit some nasty shots. Great sleep dust. Prophet looking for a freebie. Might be able to get him Will.
It does manage to find it. Now is looking for Ivy. Forces out that Wraith Walk. Jumps down, trying to pursue into the back. There's a couple shots there on a Bianca as well, but hasn't managed to find the kills yet. Fitz, the other hand, though, does get 2. Cleaning him up, the cart can finally start moving, but that's with 20 seconds left. There was a nice, 40-second plus hold here right at the front by the side of the NYXL. They've got a plethora of ults to work with.
And that's the thing, because Prophet's got the Death Blossom, but he's got the only ultimate available. I don't know if the special move's going to be good enough here. You got Bianca that can eat the whole thing up via defensive matrix. No more Nano available. Creative's going to have to land a beautiful Bionet here, because it's going to be tough. Gesture, nice.
Absolutely massive, but it's at the calls of Marvel in the meantime. So while he goes on this nice little flank mission, they lose out on the Zarya. The Primal Warrior from Yakpong going to find Creative. Prophet taken down before he can use the Death Blossom. It seems like he's just not going to get the opportunity at all. Fitz pops the Dead Eye with the bubbles in front of him. And this is as good as it's going to get for this push. The cart can't quite make it into C. Decent amount of distance still established here, though. It's pretty difficult making it all the way to the end of Junkertown. So if Dynasty can have a good defense, they very well could move up to 0, but NYXL, they have a very good opportunity of taking this map away.
Yeah, successful hold eventually over towards C, but like you sort of mentioned there as well, now that we swap sides, silver lining being found for Seoul Dynasty is that you could argue after the kind of dreadful time they had walking in towards B, the fact that they got B capped and then have also capped, I would say, 3/4 of the way through C is a lot more distance than they probably should be able to get with the time that they had, which means they were able to clutch up a reasonable amount of fight, especially towards the tail end of this B area. It was really big for them. And they weren't really aggressed upon. NYXL were very patient over the course of C. Like, you didn't see that many fights coming on through. There was that one big brawl with the grab and stuff that was won by NYXL, but when Seoul comes back in, they then have another good round of pushing. On your screen now, your eyes do not trick you. It doesn't lie to you. It's Prophet coming through on a Bastion. This is like a reverse pirate ship. This is like, the cannon is very much on the port, and it's trying to stop the ships from coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. I have very few words for it at the moment. We'll have to see how this is going to play out. They're trying to keep it hidden. Now it's up top. Barriers in
Ivy's
place.
Right,
Creative at the ready. As they just start spamming the doorways. How did they try to turn this one around? I mean, Guangzhou with the Hangzhou and Ivy with the Genji. These are two fairly standard counters that have come through in the past to try to get rid of the Bastion. But you can see he's got a great little line of sight set up here, trying to keep them off the cart. I mean, Yakpung, if he steps out there for just a moment, he's going to get shredded.
I think NYXL might even want a Sigma here. Like, Flux is really good versus Bastion. The good news about what Prophet is doing on the Soul side is he's got his back entirely against the wall, so he can't get flanked. His weak spot's completely covered here. Ivy's going to look for it, but he might look for a kill on the Blitz instead. That could be a good opening.
The deflection's going to be... Oh, no, you cannot go up onto the high ground. After the deflection has already been burned, Ivy, he just gets absolutely destroyed. Trying to find the final blow. As Yakpung tries to get some cleave damage in. Prophet going for a quick little reposition for just a moment to make sure that he's covered still by the barriers. Guangzhou has managed to find creative, so that's going to be the immortality field now gone for the Bastion. This is a big opportunity for them to try to displace him, get that elimination, get this cart rolling before he can get set up again. Gesture, however, has found Guangzhou. Bianca charging into the back, just putting some damage here onto the Bastion. He's going to have to back up, and now Yakpung is gone. That's one of the barriers now eliminated. And Ivy gets taken down as well. Here comes the tank form. Tries to boost himself up top, doesn't manage to make it happen. Looks for a little bit of extra damage, trying to snipe Guangzhou out of the air. Doesn't quite get that shot, but still does manage to finish him in the end. You get the Baby Diva, and now he can set right back up in his original spot.
I gotta say though, the payload has progressed a reasonable amount. That means backcapping is an option now. So while he gets to reset up in this exact same spot like you're saying, what really needs to happen is NYXL apply one person to constantly push the payload, and Prophet can't do anything in response. So that's one area where Seoul Dynasty are going to struggle now. They also don't have a Mercy, by the way, so they can't rinse.
Oh, they're looking for it, but here comes the Tac Visor. They've got the Ant Matrix set up. Prophet does get struck down at the end. They obviously don't have the Mercy to try to res him back through. The rally wasn't enough to keep him sustained. Is there enough damage dealt, however, is the questions. Jester going to be taking a nap. Barriers coming through to keep him protected as Guangzhou goes on the hunt. He's looking for these supports. He's looking for the soldier.
Nano Blade?
Has to reposition. That's going to be the Nano coming through. The Blade manages to find the Flux. Not going to be getting too much, and it gets interrupted. The sleep is perfect, and Ivy finds 4 in the back of the Blade. And that is going to be a huge amount of space opened up here for NYXL in the push.
And you can see how desperate Marvel was to cancel that as well. He wanted to shut down the Blade, a solo Flux that he wanted to land on top of Ivy, and he just dashes away. Flux will not be confirmed, and instantly sold. They're going to have to give up on the Bastion stretch. They're going to go back over towards Hog, put Marvel back on the Zarya as well. Prophet comes in onto a Reaper, and it'll be a desperate last attempt to try and hold on to anything on A. It's unlikely that they can win this, but they can force ultimates. That's going to be the primary goal here. Some ultimates will be online soon. That, or maybe if Gesture lands a good hook, that's where they can open things up.
Well, Prophet TPing over to the side instantly has to try to Wraith Walk out, but he's not allowed to do so. Ivy spamming that right click, manages to put a shuriken right into the back of his skull. That's 2 kills now. That's big. Over to the side. Yeah, Bianca, self-destruct going to be used. Doesn't manage to find a pick, but it does not matter. Gesture's taken out. Marvel finishes himself off with a right click. And the cleanup is going to be there. 3 minutes now, strong in the time bank for the side of NYXL to get ready to move forward. They've got a lot of space. They can be creative. Nearly another Dragon Blade. The Dragon Strike is there, and Nano is almost online.
It's a pretty big ult feed, and that's the kind of counterpoint here. You'll delay the payload a little bit more for your Seoul Dynasty. You'll get the 1 extra ultimate. I think maybe Seoul believed there were more ultimates on the NYXL side than what was actually the truth there. It was just the self-destruct and Guangzhou coming over to the Dragon Strike, and only the self-destruct was burned. So ultimately a pretty big win for NYXL on that final cap. But time is working against them now. The ultimate goal of the Bastion composition is probably you're not going to get a full hold, but you are going to bleed the timer down, and there's not a lot of time left.
Still not too bad. I mean, better off than how the Dynasty was compared to this position on their own attack. Blade coming through again from Ivy. Got chunked out to start, but gets topped back up, and Marvel, everybody just collapses in on top of the Zarya, ensuring that he cannot build up towards this grab, cannot maintain high energy. They get that kill. Gesture gets a hook in, but it doesn't lead to much yet. Yakpung just cleaving away here with this Primal Rage. And with all this disruption with Marvel gone, Gesture unable to stay on the cart, they get the cap and they keep the time bank healthy.
That's actually huge coming from NYXL because they lost a lot of time on towards A, nearly the OT, but they make up for so much of it on B. That was a super smooth B. I mean, where was even the defense? It felt like NYXL had the entire tempo the entire way. It's going to have to come down towards C. Marvel doesn't have a grab yet. He spent a long time with the Zarya, and he desperately needs to find a grab. There is a lot of other ultimates. Where's the Nano, though? The Nano is going to be really important.
Needs to try to build up. Prophet slept as the Nano comes through. Wants to get that Death Blossom online. Can they get the counter kill onto him? The Bionade says no. That does force them back, so they cannot get that punish. And Gesture, in the meantime, does have this whole hog rolling as well. Yakpung dead. The back end of the fight as Bianca uses the self-destruct, it looks like, just to get back into the mech, I suppose. Far enough off screen. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Rejoins him
Probably
with the rest of the squad.
wasn't worth, but maybe he doesn't want to get staggered because, you know, in the interest of time, which is important, get back down to the 230. And, you know, no Nano Blade in sight either. Nano Blade was how they won B by late. That's a good hook. That's going to force the fight. Yakpung's in deep.
Yep.
Has to be.
Grab comes out. Yakpung does fall. Guangzhou, however, replies with a headshot onto an ammo, ensuring that they cannot have a rally in this fight. We'll have to rejoin in with the rest of the squad. Pressing forward, Guangzhou again, point blank, does manage to find that shot on the Fitz, but Prophet hounds him down to get some revenge for his DPS buddy. Gets rid of that Widow, alleviating a little bit of pressure and ensuring that they can continue this hold here on the cart for a little bit longer. Bubble now going to be burned. Jonak taken out of the fight. Great shot there from Prophet, up close and personal. Now looks for a little bit more. TPing forward, gets in behind Yakpung. Tries to get the finish here onto the Winston. Hasn't been able to find it yet, however, as they push up here onto the high ground. They will force a reposition from Guangzhou, making sure that he can't push out for some shots here.
Really important counterplay moment coming up, by the way, because Death Blossom is available for Prophet, so Marvel's going to need a pocket coming through with the bubble. Sleep Dart's available. Friday can also get that shield bash, and we'll see where Prophet's going to land on it. Guangzhou landing a single headshot could be deadly, though.
Prophet going in. Marvel managing to find two, beaming down Ivy and Yakpung. They had that Bionade rather layered in on top of the Dynasty members, but they just didn't have the damage to try to follow up to get those kills. Hook in from the side, a bit of a jump scare as Gesture finds the enemy Widow, strikes him down. 4 ult strong, but NYXL, they need to get into a position to actually utilize these, because Dynasty, they're getting ready to lap them. They're getting ready to have this grab online with that whole hog to try to shut them out of this map.
You can see that GB goes over towards the McCree as well, because he knows he's not getting these sight lines. He can't do anything. The Nano onto Ivy has to be the answer here, going straight for Prophet, forcing the Wraith Wall.
Yeah, but the sleep comes in. Gesture, however, is bionaded. They're trying to chase in to get the kill. They do manage to find it. Guangzhou pressing forward with the McCree swap. It's the punish here onto the Roadhog. They wait for Gesture to try to respawn into the fight. Marvel now eliminated as well. Doesn't get the opportunity to use the grab, and that's going to be a reset on the energy. A huge play here from Guangzhou.
Anamo has
dying on the back end of the fight as well. And yeah, he does have to stay alive so far. Has managed to do so. But the Dynasty, they need to get back in onto this cart. Somebody needs to stop this. They don't have very fast-moving members. Gesture tries to go up with the whole hog. He gets burnt down. The Bionade is huge. Fitz has the visor rolling. Doesn't get the spot here onto the enemy members, but can they get the kills? Yakpung gonna be gone. Prophet dead. Jonak dead. Marvel kills himself off. Anama now falling. The cart just 3 meters away. Can they actually roll this through? NYXL looking to tie us up 1-1. Just need to go a little bit further here on Junkertown. It looks like they have done it. They get rid of the Wrecking Ball. They will be able to push through to victory. And that does tie us up 1-1. A great reply here from the side of the NYXL, bouncing back after losing on Oasis.
Yeah, I think happy with that finish overall. Was pretty tough gameplay coming on in. Jonak with a shutdown towards the end there, getting rid of Gesture's whole hog. Absolutely beautiful. Marvel can't get it done on towards the grab. There's no good damage follow-up in that final fight. And all it took was for NYXL to make the swap on towards the Reaper, get the Brawler to get into Prophet's face, push Gesture away as well, and then suddenly NYXL open up the choke, open up the C point, and they push through to the victory.
Very nicely done here from NYXL, but down to the wire just shows you how close these two teams are playing against each other at the moment. But NYXL, they will ensure that we will not have a 3-0 series. They will go ahead and extend this at least by 1 map. Now we get to see who is going to be taking the lead after we come back from the break. See who's going to be able to move up 2 match points. So do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Things are just now heating up, and this is proving to be a very exciting series. So we'll be back in just a few. Stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back and we're ready to dive right back into the action. We are tied up 1-1 here in our final series of the evening. Seoul Dynasty taking map 1, but NYXL replying quickly and fiercely with a victory on Junkertown. But again, down to the wire, Avril, both these teams fighting tooth and nail to get that win. But Seoul Dynasty, they come up just a little bit short. They cannot stay on the cart. And I gotta say, a lot of it is on the back of Jonak. These Bionades shutting down Gestures. Roadhog, it's been phenomenal to see.
Especially if we're going to see more just Roadhog throughout the rest of the day in this matchup. Jonak's role on this team is going to be, continue to be really important. And there's another small play that I sort of noticed while we were casting over the game, but didn't quite have time to bring up, is he actually got a very clutch nano boost onto Ivy, where Ivy on B got hooked by Gesture. Would have died to Gesture, but the nano came on through to save him just in time to mitigate the damage, which then enabled the blade to come on through. If Ivy dies here, I don't think they get a good time in B. If they don't get a good time in B, I don't know that they cap C, because C came down to the wire. So, I mean, very clutch stuff coming through from Jonak so far. Loving his Ana gameplay. A lot of people, say this is the Zen guy, but honestly, getting rid of the Zen, seeing a lot more Ana come through from Jonak, I think this is probably his best hero now, and he's really showing his chops today. And on the other end as well, I think Creative's put up a really good fight. Creative's been really trying to show up Jonak, and Creative, especially on that opening Oasis, has landed some insanely good Bionades. So both Ana players have been my highlights to look out for in this matchup.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, sleep darts galore through both of these series, honestly. I mean, even taking a look at the first series with Shanghai going through, Fleta was getting involved with it, going for the duplicates, getting those sleep darts connected. So it's been a really big day for Ana so far. So I'm excited to see those plays because, as a former Ana 1 trick, I always like to see those plays get highlighted. It's been a really wonderful day for that. We do have swaps coming back in. Seems like it's just going to be, Flora and Feather coming back through for Guangzhou and Ivy. They're going to be the set players, on those longer sightline maps, so they can have the Widowmaker and whatnot. As we get ready to move into Hanamura, seems like we're going to have a little bit of what we were seeing at the very beginning, probably the Echo to come back through.
Echo, I think Hans has got on this map as well.
Sure.
Echo especially, though. So Feather coming in, I think, specifically tells me that NYXL want to go towards Echo. Profit will be there to match. My biggest question goes back to the tanks. We're not seeing any substitutions from Seoul, which means I don't know 2U plays today. I'm looking over to the map pool. Hollywood's out there. Hollywood might be a map that 2U comes in for, because I think Diva's quite good on Hollywood, and we are going to get a map for today, so that would be my prediction as to when 2U comes back in. Or I'm going to be real with you, Kilios. If you have either Gesture or Marvel on a Diva, that could be kind of cursed for Seoul. I don't think people really want to see that. So if we keep playing Hog and Ball and Hog whatever kind of compositions, that could still be the play. Hanamura will probably be one of their last chances to really get a win there, though, with that kind of comp.
All right, well, we'll see what these guys do piece together. As I'm just taking a look on my screen. I still haven't seen how Fitz just went off the side of the map. We had that replay up for a moment, but unfortunately, it wasn't his POV. Didn't get to see him in the wide shot.
If he got booped.
But
sometimes you can get booped. But sometimes
and not have
you
the
can
kill
get
credit.
Booped, but then that can happen. I've seen that. Sometimes you do get booped and no kill credit comes up. It is possible.
It might be that.
It's that, or he messed up a hook shot. Maybe he went
That's
for
what
something
I was thinking.
and he messed it up. But
or even if he was just doing
I promise you, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, you say. What do you think he was doing?
Well, I was saying it could even just be like a ground grapple if he was just trying to dash to the side and maybe he dashed to the right and overshot it and ended up going off the side of the map. Either way, I'm still curious about it, but maybe we'll never know. But your follow-up
ground grapple from Australia to New Zealand, and he just just off the map. The nano is more curious to me. I'm 99% sure that's a mistake from Creative, but that would have been someone getting in the way. It could have possibly have been Ivy. Sorry, not Ivy. Who was it? Fitz getting in the way while he was grappling. He would have maybe just grappled at the wrong time. At the same time, Creative goes for the nano, and then off the map he goes, goodbye nano, and that's a bit of a sad trumpet sounds coming on through. Speaking of A, by the way, another really interesting thing that really I enjoyed from an analytical point of view was how NYXL kind of dismantled that reverse pirate ship, just the bunker composition, right? Where Fitz was the member on the soldier on that defense that was kind of protecting the backline but being a little bit further back, especially when the payload started moving forward, right? You now have a situation where Prophet cannot look at the payload. Fitz is kind of there minding the payload a little bit further back on the high ground. So then NYXL, like, well, where is the weakness in the bunker comp? Because when you defeat bunker, when you're trying to figure out how to beat bunker, it's kind of like taking down the Death Star. You got to find that exhaust port, you know, get your photon your missiles in there, whatever, photon torpedoes in there, and just really nail it. And that's where Ivy comes in with the Genji, with the Nanoblade, and Fitz is the primary target. If you get rid of Fitz, that's your 5v6. There was no Mercy, and I think not having a Mercy in a bunker comp really hurts, because you need those reses, and you want to damage Bruce Sebastian as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get wanting to have the break to, you know, get the bash on the Genji to shut him down, but I do agree. I think being able to, you know, res him back in and even just have the damage boost to just shred through the shields even faster, it holds so much more value. So I do agree with you. I think there was a bit of a misallocation as far as the composition was concerned, but that's in the past. And now we get ready to look forward into Hanamura to see who is going to be able to take a lead in this series, or if we just have another draw. Because why not? It's always possible. We saw one in our first series. Why not have another one? By the way, I gotta say, I'm really loving the more like cinematic wide shots that we have going on. These have been really wonderful. Kind of flying a little bit under the radar, but in our first series on Volskaya, I really started to notice them, and I was like, oh, these look excellent.
Yeah, that with the player cams, and here we are, we're getting the raw emotions. No one's eating while playing, so I'm a little bit sad by that. Shoutouts to Milan Run. As we get a bit of a sweep over the ramen bar. So looking over the attacking composition here, yeah, it's going to be Zarya Hog again. Pretty similar composition. Animo speeding out his team, moving over towards the Mercy, pocketing Fitz. On the other side for NYXL, standard. It's going to be Ash into Echo. Pretty much what you would say that NYXL are going to play when you see Floor and Feather, so nothing out of the ordinary here.
At least not yet. We'll see if they make any adjustments, as they do get poked out a bit, looking to make their way through the initial choke. Cap coming through here at the moment. Yakpung leaping up on top of the archway. Does pop the bubble. Almost a tick going to be grabbed, but they do contest the point, and Prophet does get shoved back. Like he's going to have to burn that Wraith Walk out. Gesture taking a nap for now. Single tick does get grabbed by Prophet alone, having TP'd over onto the point right at the very beginning. Just kind of playing on an island by himself. Takes quite a bit of damage. Walks back over here with the rest of the squad, joins in with Marvel so they can receive some bubbles as he continues to play up. Another TP now gets himself into the back. He's looking for Floor. He gets the finish. Now looks for a little bit more. Has to rely on this lifesteal, and he gets Jonak. Will fall, but that's so much value netted. Res comes out from Friday, so at least they burn the cooldown, and the second tick is going to be snatched up here by the Dynasty on the point. Gesture is here, ready for a hook, and they have to push in. Bianca gets himself up on top of the belt for now. Nano boost going to be used. Feather, the recipient of that, almost has to duplicate the beam coming through. Bubble comes out. Gesture top up. Bionade used onto him to amplify that healing. Duplicates out Feather. Gets the whole hook instantly and starts pushing them back through the choke. Well, buy a little bit of time at least. He has a few seconds remaining. Yeah, hook out, just connects in with the bubble. He's trying to get the finishing blow there onto Anamo. Cannot find it in the meantime. Prophet, as you say, receiving the nano boost, manages to find Jonak, shutting him down yet again. The back in onto the point. Couple more shots would finish him off, and yeah, they might just have it right here. Feather dives in onto the point, trying to keep this one contested here for the moment, but they get the finish as Prophet just cleans up 2 more kills. Marvel finding 3 for himself, and it's 5 minutes into the time bank here for the Dynasty.
Dude, I can't believe my eyes. Prophet just keeps diving for the point. It's like he's still playing Tracer. Tracer has been removed in the hero pool. Prophet says, really? Because I'm just going to go towards the point. I'm going to have backline pressure. I'm going to dive straight for the supports. He gets a 2-for-1 trade. Meanwhile, Tix is just flying by. He's just solo camping by himself. He's a force of nature at this stage. Death Blossom available. Grab's nearly there as well. Really clutch bubbles, by the way, coming from Marvel. And here it is. Bubble into Death Blossom, but he's going to get shut down.
Yeah, Sleep does come in there for a moment. They wake him up, but he does manage to exit at least for a little bit longer before he does lose his life. Feather finds that shutdown. That might be enough to stave them off because the, Freebird's not going to be able to rejoin into the fight very quickly, and it seems like Prophet does still want to stick with it. However, the rest of the squad can just poke out and look to build up these ults in the meantime. They almost have 5 available. Mr. poking out, looking for that hook, doesn't manage to find it. It's getting
need to grab Byron in, yeah.
Yeah, would be
the game plan.
That's set up.
Jonak on the other side is a nano available as well, so both teams have plenty of ultimates to work with. Feather, once he has a duplicate available, has a lot of staying power. Yakpung might be forced to primal. There it is.
Nano's out onto Feather. Yakpung does go for the Primal Gesture, the recipient of his own Nano boost here. So Yakpung does manage to find creative. They couldn't get the peel available for him. Prophet
Still
now
no grab.
anti, uses the Wraith Walk to go ahead and keep himself safe, but as he comes out of that, Feather is right on top of him, finds the kill. Fitz finds Flora, a great headshot from him, but Yakpung shuts down Marvel. The energy now going to be lost, and Jester again getting clipped by the Bionade here from Jonak. One tick going to be established here on the point so far. As Jester finds a kill, but will get out-pressured, will get taken down, and it seems like that's going to be the end of Dynasty's run here on the point for now.
Not bad in terms of progress. I mean, you take that tech very late grab coming on in. Marvel now swaps over towards the Sigma, probably much more comfortable in terms of an actual hero. Reasonable trades from Fitz especially, just to keep things competitive. That one tick was required, because that took a long time. Seoul was so patient on that initial push in. After Prophet went in for the Death Blossom with the bubble support, then got shut down by the Sleep Dart. So again, great plays by Jonak, who's been really showing with Xana. Beyond that, Seoul took a long time to get back on the point, to really get anything started. Gesture wasn't really landing hooks. Yakpung was eventually pressured to, Primal, and that's when things really got underway. Another Nano now found by Jonak. Where does it go? Probably onto Yakpung, maybe onto Feather.
That was a huge stun there onto Feather in mid-air. Forces out the Nano boost from Jonak just to try to save his life. Doesn't really follow up for too much additional damage to try to get that duplicate, so will still be resting around 50%. Bob opened up now from Fitz to start things off. Prophet antied, uses the Wraith Walk already, so now we'll have that one put on cooldown. But Bob doesn't net them much at all. Fitz is not able to open things up. Now the Nano Boost has to be used on the Prophet because he's down on the low ground and they need to keep him alive. They need him for this fight. Does manage to find Bianca, forces out the self-destruct. Florida, in the meantime, does find Fitz. Creative taken down as Flora comes up with a double kill. Now a triple. Marvel gone. Jester whole hogging. But again, the Bionade comes in and just Jonak finishes him off. Prophet is unable to get on top of the Ana in time to find the kill, and Flora is just absolutely popping right now on this Ashe.
Absolutely. I mean, they have the respawn advantage there as well. Jonak's doing a great job. Animo might have had the Valkyrie, but with Creative dead, it's like a solo healing adventure. Yeah, it's more slow down here with Fitz going down. Animo doesn't want to waste a res for that. And a situation where Seoul Dynasty cannot get a critical mass of kills with enough players alive to sort of outpace the defender spawn advantage. And they're also not getting an ultimate advantage, by the way. A Nano boost on towards Prophet. He's like the only one that can take a Nano at this stage in terms of offensive Nano usages. Defensively, you probably want to save it to save Gesture. And Gesture's not finding the same damage threat. Like, when was the last time we're really seeing Gesture land a multitude of hooks that is really threatening New York? I think Jonak has put a little to Gesture, and that's what's making the difference.
I mean, Gesture's getting a good amount of poke down. He's been able to build up for these whole hogs rather quickly, but, as soon as he pops them, things like that happen. He gets hit by that anti, and all of a sudden, he's just that much more vulnerable. Obviously, you can't take a breather while you're in the middle of the whole hog. The healing is cut off, and you're just a walking target for the opponents to go ahead and build up. Like you said, time is a major concern. Jester gets himself in onto the point, builds it up to 56%. Prophet again going to be antied again, has to use the Wraith Walk to go ahead and keep himself safe. Jester well into the back by the spawn, takes a breather, but he's completely isolated. Now the sleep comes in, he's got nowhere to go. They have him completely boxed into the hallway. He is gone. Creative's out of the fight. The res has already been used by Anamo to bring Fitz back into the fray. But I mean, he's going to try to get the Bob online, but that is not going to do a damn thing right now for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. This is looking like the hold is going to happen. And Amo pops the Valkyrie. He's going to try to delay on the point, but Flora has just been clicking heads left, right, and center. Shuts down the Mercy. The Bob will get finished off at 56.1%. Is as good as it's going to get. Jester tries to roll back in, but they knock him down to the low ground, and there you have it. A successful hold on point B at the hands of the NYXL, who have a very significant win condition. The draw is off the table. They either win or lose the map.
And 56.1 came through from their best fight as well on that offensive for B, and that's saying a lot because that best fight they had, I don't think had the longevity to go all the way to an actual cap or threatening a cap on B. It had the longevity to maybe threaten a second tick at most, but I think they were fairly fortunate just to get that one tick. So Seoul were really struggling to get underway on the B attack, and it's really rough when normally it should be the team that's kind of scared to poke and peek into the hog because you don't want to get hooked. You're fearing the damage threat of Gesture on the hog, but it's kind of the opposite here where Gesture doesn't really, he's feeling pressure that he can't peek himself. He can't go for the same hooks. He can't go for the same plays, and Seoul in general are struggling to work through these chokes, get into an offensive position where they can get everyone into, good firing lines. Flora feathers damage, Jonak sleep darts in the binaries, everything coming out from the NYXL camp is doing so much damage and so much threat and pressure against Gesture and the rest of Seoul that they can't get into any good positions on that offense. And beyond that as well, the only thing that NYXL need to make sure they're not doing is they need to make sure Yakpung and Bianca don't throw their lives away into Gesture. As long as that doesn't happen, the DPS are going to do their jobs, and Seoul are going to be they're going to be, pressed down. The lid is firmly on top.
Well, I don't think that they're worried about it too much because it's been Gesture who's been throwing his life away. I mean, we'll be on a much more controlled pick here with the Orisa, so we'll just be looking for the double shield. And we'll scout this out. Flora, you can see, he's like, okay, it's double shield then.
Sim?
Okay. I actually would have really liked it. Could have built up his charge, obviously, very quickly with the shield.
I would have thought maybe Doom Reaper could have been good here, but I don't know if that's within the hero pools of the players. I think if this was Ivy, Guangbong,
yeah,
maybe.
if you swapped it back.
Oh, who knows? yeah, because I think that lineup versus the double shield makes a lot of sense to me, but they're going to stick with the kind of dive comp here, the Yakpung Winston, which is what they've been playing the whole time. I don't know if that's going to match up well into the double shield. We'll have to find out, but this is now Prophet and Fit's opportunity to return the favor on the defense and have that extreme damage output. You can see it right now.
I like how he's just intentionally playing through the window pane right there and manages to do it so very well. Marvel, however, going to be isolated. Great push coming through from Bianca. Knocks him away from the rest of the squad so they cannot keep him alive. Res potentially could happen here from Hanamura if he can get into a safe enough position. With Yakpung falling, he'll be able to do just that. So this will be an initial good start to the defense here as Gesture cleans up 2 kills in the back end. And this is a lot more stock standard for them. It's a lot safer. Gesture on this Orisa, way fewer chances of him putting himself in an inopportune position like we saw from him on the attack. Getting into that hallway right outside of spawn. It's much more straightforward for him. Sit there, halt people in so Prophet can nail them with the sticky bombs. Otherwise, sit behind the barrier and just, stay steady. That's all he needs to do.
Seoul are now snowballing off a 1-5 victory. You can see all the ultimates coming online, and NYXL were having a tough job as it was to try and crack this nut open. They're not going to dive until Jonak has his nano boost available. They might think about rotating, but probably not even that. Nano boost should be available in the next couple of seconds here, just farming off the damage on Yakpung. They're going to nano Yakpung in. If Yakpung doesn't get a primal off this, NYXL are in trouble because they're not going to get past this double shield without it.
Okay, well, there's the Flux. Primal Rage going to be used onto the back end. It's Prophet just jumping around. He's looking for a target. Would love to get somebody off the side of the map. He's going to be looking for Bianca. Knocks him pretty far out there, but as he gets knocked out of the duplicate, he goes off the side of the map. I'm not sure if he just didn't have the flight. No, he would have had it. He just didn't activate it fast enough to get himself back in. Now Gesture is going to fall. Bianca coming up with that kill, but Fitz does manage to find Flora. Hanamura would love to get Gesture back into this fight because he does have the bongo ready to go. So the Supercharger could be instrumental in them finding this hold. Hanamura getting chunked out. Nano Boost is going to be used. Creative puts it onto the Mercy just to try to keep him alive as he tries to top everybody else back up. Res now going to be used. Does manage to bring Fitz right back into the fray. Marvel fighting Feather. Marvel holding on by a thread. Will get finished off as Jonak finds a melee hit. Prophet back in. Reroutes, comes around the back and looks for Jonak, finds him with the beam. They're still ticking up here on the point. They need to contest. The sticky bomb's going to be looking pretty darn good. Just needs one more hit to finish off Friday, and the dynamite will send them flying, and they actually managed to hold it. The nano onto Hanamura was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Keeps him alive, gets the res onto Fitz, and they're waiting for Prophet. They're buying time to get Prophet back into action. That was absolutely a mistake. Prophet knows it, Seoul knows it. You can't afford to have your main DPS go down because it's also your main nano target. Creative's like, I don't know who to nano now. I could put it onto Marvel. I'm probably going to have to wait for Prophet, but Animo's dying. Let's put it into Animo, confirm the res, and be on our way. And you saw as well, once the Primal's gone, once the nano boost from Jonak was gone, there was no more firepower from NYXL. And we're back in the same situation. Yakpung needs a Primal off this nano, and then confirm from there.
He manages to find it. Gesture left out the dry. Supercharger and himself now going to be finished off. Hanamura taking into the skies with a Valkyrie. Manages to push out. Gets the res here, putting the Orisa back into the fray. Gesture straight back into the fight as Feather. Trying to farm up, trying to get this blade online. Beam comes in. Flux is out. Marvel drops him to the ground, and they just don't get onto the point. They cannot continue the fight. Seoul Dynasty They pull off the full hold here on Hanamura after an unsuccessful attack. And they will move up 2-1. You can see big smiles on their faces, Gesture in particular, as they do manage to take this away, and now they find themselves up 2-1 in the series.
And conversely, you look at NYXL, Jonak's not pleased about that. I mean, NYXL in general can't be happy about the way they performed on that attack, because I think they were really pushing this kind of square peg into a round hole where, I mean, Winston dive into a double shield, that's not going to work. You can't rely on a nano to primal. The firepower doesn't exist, man. Unless Feather somehow off the back of Yukpong making space finds a double kill, maybe you trade Yukpong's life or it doesn't go untraded. That's like the one way you get there. Floor would have to hit an insane headshot, and that can still be raised by Animo. I think actually look for NYXL, maybe move towards a ball comp, go towards something more like a Lucio Moya and just rush onto the point. Something to break the double shield or poke your way around it and surround it, but just diving head first into a double shield is not going to work, and they got nothing done trying to do that.
Yeah, really rough stuff. I mean, getting, full health, never going to be a good feeling no matter what the situation is. So now NYXL, they need to bounce back yet again. We saw them do it after Oasis, getting that second map win. Now we get ready to go to Hollywood for Hybrid, and we'll see if they're going to make any more adjustments to try to get over the finish line. I mean, wouldn't be too shocked to see Guangzhou come back in. Hollywood, very long-standing Widowmaker map, so perhaps that's going to be the adjustment that helps them get a victory here and extend us into a 5-map series. We're going to find out in just a little bit when we come back from the break, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see if Seoul Dynasty can close this out or if NYXL keep fighting.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back, guys. We are getting ready to go into what could be the final map of this series, which has been electrifying the whole way throughout. Seoul Dynasty managed to take a convincing lead here in the set, now 2-1 at match point, after full holding NYXL on Hanamura. Down to the wire, I mean, a lot of close moments in that last map and throughout the series just in general. But things are looking really good for NYXL. They successfully defend point B. They only give up 56.1% there, but they just cannot get anything done on the attack.
And I think part of this comes down to NYXL maybe lacking some versatility as well. They are beginning to figure out Seoul. You can see like, oh yes, you know, Gesture's playing Hog, have Jonak land a lot of his leak darts and whatever on him, let's focus Gesture down, put a lot more pressure onto Gesture, do all these kind of things and outplay the Hog. You start to, I think that was at its peak and the precipice when you had that kind of B defense successfully. But then you go over to the other side and suddenly Seoul turn a card over, they turn the page over and it's like, no, we're playing double shield now. NYXL like, we thought you were going to do Hog. This is very different and we're not too sure what to do about this, so let's default into a standard dive. That just didn't have, in my opinion, the firepower. And moving forward now, you got to be careful about that because I think Hollywood, A defense especially, can be pretty successful for double shield. Seoul can definitely go back there. I didn't see a substitution for Seoul, so that means no 2U. I do wonder if that means we're going to have any Diva gameplay at all, or is Seoul going to be content with how they do it, how they're playing with Gesture Marvel for the time being. Will Gesture go back over towards a Hog? I don't think this is a particularly great map for Hog. This is one where you definitely do have to try and control a bit more high ground, so maybe A Hog is fine, but once we go to B, if Gesture doesn't play Winston, it'd be a bit weird.
I'm still just kind of surprised, given that the Dynasty is going to be starting things off on this defense. They don't just stick through with the double shield. They worked a treat from them there on Hanamura, got them, you know, that full hold. So I'm kind of shocked that they just don't do it here, because it's not like this is a poor map for it either.
They have the kind of setup for it. All Gesture would do is go to Orisa here, and the rest of the players are already on the correct heroes to make that work. So, yeah, they're literally one hero off from achieving it, but I think Gesture is maybe believing in his own ability here. A point is probably one of the few places on this map where Hog is going to find some good value. But I will say that this is going to give York the opening, give the York the window of opportunity where Jonak can find a lot of output again, and you almost see a pick coming on through from Flora just at the start.
Yeah, really solid shots from him right off the bat. Namo is going to be slept. You see him right there inside the cafe. Bionade. Yep, in on the Fitz. Really great shots from Jonak. Unfortunately, nobody in a position to try and capitalize on that. Would have required, you know, Reaper TPing in, which would have left him extremely vulnerable. So just not really worth trying to go for the play. There's a good little delay. Prophet, however, instantly domed there. Flora finding a really great headshot, forces the res out from Manama. Now we're going to have the Electric Cowboy coming through. Fan of the hammer.
Stun.
Marvel will fall, and Fitz is dead. So already the DPS going to be cut in half. The shield now eliminated, and YXL are in onto the point. Ticking up, looking for the second right now as Prophet, well, into the back of the Mega Room, will get cut down as Flora has an amazing pop-off performance here. Explosive start for him and the rest of the squad. And now there's 5 minutes and 15 seconds in the time bank. This is a night and day difference for NYXL.
Flora got an MVP in that matchup versus Philadelphia Fusion where NYXL won for his hit scan prowess, and he's showing that right now on that A attack, and straight away before the first kill came on through, did a ton of damage, puts the pressure on Animo to get that res in there as well. Great stun to follow up to get that kill into Marvel, and straight on towards B. Gesture playing Hog currently, so no high ground pressure. Well, the good news is for Seoul that NYXL also haven't taken high ground. Trying to make some flanks happen, looking for the opening target. Bob available for Fitz.
Starting to make their way up here onto the high ground. Junker dropping down after falling below half HP. Gesture around the back. Another sleep dart going to be connecting in onto him. He's going to be kept up here for the moment. Spitz does throw out the bomb, but look at the explosion of damage on the Gesture. They just instantly annihilate the Roadhog. Finish off on the Bob. Fitz able to find Jonak. Now Yakpung going to be gone. 2 for 1. As they do win out the overall fight. Cart in the meantime is just going to be sitting still as they continue to try to fight over this high ground. Flux drops Bianca down to the ground, gets that kill. Heather has to pull back, and now they make their way over onto the card, but it's been a decent amount of time chewed up. You know, a minute plus now gone.
You also see, by the way, the Sigma Flux there. I mean, it didn't really do too much in terms of kills, but it completely forced it NYXL to abandon the high ground. All he had to do was press Q, and all of NYXL on this particular high ground Marvel is now. They all abandoned that position. Now the Nanos come on through for Gesture. No hook landed. Yakpung already in towards the Primal.
I mean, they had Feather slip there on the high ground. Gesture was kind of trying to look and see if he had any leverage to get that hook off. Did not, though. Obstruct Prophet actually finding Flora. Didn't quite catch exactly where he was playing at. The Gesture off the top rope. Gets that hook in on the Jonak just to keep him still for a moment. Long enough for Fitz to nail the headshot. Follows up for another one on to Feather. And this is going to be the Dynasty winning out on the fight. And YXL going to have to go back to the drawing board and look to reset.
Great mileage on the payload, though. I think that's a good silver lining coming through from the NYXL. Stag onto Bianca is going to, leave a bit of a smudge there on the record, so they're not going to be too happy about that. But otherwise, having that kind of distance on the payload will now enable NYXL to have more flank opportunities. They don't just have to play on the main street. They can play around the right side as well, go for longer flanks, and just find their way across the map. So focusing on payload distance here was really huge. And it really comes down to the fact that Proper's duplicator self-destruct what kind of got Seoul an initial pickup that gives them prison. So here we go, attacking high ground. I think Flora dying's massive.
Oh, that's enormous. Now Feather going to be gone as well. Prophet beaming him down. Jonek dead as they just enter into the room. And I mean, Marvel, he can just keep bouncing those spheres around. Chipping away at everybody, so kills coming through as 4 members do end up getting dropped in the long run. And look at that, I mean, the time bank, now 3 minutes taken away from them. NYXL have barely gotten this cart moving through the street space.
We'll see where they go now, but it seemed like NYXL, because they had to fully reset so hard off the back of the previous, not the one we just saw, but the one before that. Seoul Dynasty holds super close up. We're going to make a fun coming through from Flora. Let's see if this Flux can land onto anything. Currently nothing, and we'll just force NYXL back for the time being. But pay attention to the ultimates. Nano Boost is available, and that's key to getting Yakpung to action to really fight for this high ground again.
Just going around, checking that flank, spots them all out. Yakpung does get himself up top. Hog pushing him away. Yakpung receiving that nano boost. Wants to get back up here onto the high ground. This pushes a decent amount of damage onto Marvel, but doesn't get too much. Prophet tries to go into the duplicate, instantly gets dumped by Flora, taken out of it, and then Yakpung has the follow-up to get the kill. Gesture now going to be nano, but still quite low. Needs to take a breather here in a moment. If he has the cooldown, seems like he does not. Will just get barreled over as Feather gets the elimination here onto the enemy Roadhog. Fitz opens one up for now. The bomb going to be used. But this is going to be a good amount of distance bought here for the NYXL. Can finally start advancing over towards point B.
Valkyrie's been popped as well. Can we get a res onto Marvel? The body is super in the open, but kind of looked after as well. Hasn't been prevented. Flora with the kill to Creative, but they still lose the support. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Currently, Marvel needs this Flux. He's close.
Yakpung is hiding in behind the bubble. Is low. The dink comes in. Why is he playing forward? Why doesn't he back off? Why doesn't he leap away?
He could have been nano as well, by the way. Now the nano goes to the Friday.
Well, yeah, doesn't get it. Friday nano dunk. Flux being used. Marvel will fall, so maybe NYXL just turns around anyway because they managed to find 3 kills. So Yakpung, he gets his blushes spared by the rest of the squad. Still is going to be enough time for a last-second contest. Marvel now going to be swapping over onto the Diva. Just are going to be going after the ball. Prophet falling low is anti-up. Nearly has that duplicate, but Yakpung will finish him off, and that might just be point B bought here for NYXL. That's Blossom available. Feather would love to get rid of that mech. They managed to find it. Now he might actually be able to hold this for the final stretch because the cart is going to glide into point B. So a minute and a half going to be added to the time bank. A second lease on life gained here for NYXL. But this is not what they had anticipated given the start. I mean, you think about it, 5 minutes, 15 seconds at the very beginning after that cap on A. Now down to about a minute remaining.
Well, I think the most important thing was Flora going over towards the Widowmaker because that kind of pressure was missing. They were all stacking up quite hard. You know, that's going to get you caught out by Flux. It's going to get caught you by Marvel on all the AoE damage. Flora having some flank pressure through the long sight lines was so big. I mean, he shut down Prophet straight away. Prophet goes for the dupe, shuts down the dupe, and then Prophet dies after that to Yakpung, surviving against Gesture. Some early frags coming through. No surprises, by the way, the Seoul Dynasty are playing very far forward to try and buy more time and bleed this timer down because it's only 1:30 and it's unlikely NYXL cap unless they win all fights from now on in a huge snowball.
Alright, taking a decent amount of damage on the entry. Will get slowly top back up. Nano boost is used onto Yakpung. Playing forward, trying to get that primal online. Jumps over. To get a little bit of clean damage coming through, but here comes Feather. Manages to find one, takes out Marvel, and Fitz gets the headshot in, gets the elimination. Prophet now going to be losing it on the duplicate, goes up into the sky, gets topped up as the nano boost comes flying through from Creative, trying to keep him in the fight. The beam is going to be good, takes Bianca out of the mech. Rally rolling for Friday, armoring up the Baby Diva, armoring up Jonek, trying to keep this push going as they get a couple meters away. They have to stay glued to the cart now to do the side of the NYXL. Deadeye looks to clear them out a little bit. Will find an ammo in the back. It's a major pickoff. The Creative, he gets Feather. Rolling toward the flashbang, goes out, doesn't manage to find anything. Flora getting chunked out. Tries to stay alive. We'll be taking a nap here for now as Creative in his dying breath throws out that sleep dart, gets the hit here onto the Cowboy, but the health packs are flying through from Friday to keep him topped up and keep him in the fight. Bastion Swap now coming in for Feather if he can even join in time. Seems like it's not going to be the case as they clear out the cart, and they will be able to push this through in OT.
Really important pickups there towards the end there. I mean, that Deadeye onto the Valking Animo, that's a fight-changing kind of kill coming on through. And this was coming from the fact that NY Excel had a bit of a poor start. They lose Feather very quickly. Feather, who's trying to get this Death Blossom going way ahead of his team, by the way. He dived so deep for that Death Blossom with minimal backup and a very late rally, I gotta say, from Friday. I don't know why Friday held that nano, sorry, the rally for as long as he did. I would have liked to have seen the rally come through at least 5 seconds earlier, build a bit of extra armor, have the payload move a little bit further forward, then get Feather into position for a Death Blossom where your team can back him up, have Bianca right behind him with a little bit of extra armor on Feather himself as the Reaper, and you're good to go. So they had to turn around a 5v6, and there's no reset there. NYXL don't reset, they don't go back to spawn. They play the fight in a proper 5v6, and they have to come back, get Feather back into action, and just keep the roll, keep the kills coming on through. Bianca, by the way, got a funny remake kill on towards Prophet, which is actually pretty huge. I mean, that one kill onto another DPS, onto profitable people, is going to really shut down the ability for Seoul to get counter trade. So a lot of great frags from the NYXL squad on that final push. And I said they needed a few perfect fights in a row, and they actually did get that.
Let's see if they get some perfect fights here on this defense. Try and extend us into that map of number 5. Otherwise, Seoul Dynasty can need to push to the end, take us into some extra innings, and then look to close it out from there. If they can do so, we'll only need that first tick on point A, given the OT finish. Unless they finish with under a minute, that is.
Oh,
or
that
with time
dynamite
themselves.
Holy!
What? Oh my god, Fitz just finds 2 off the rip, now making a 3rd. He's looking for a little bit more, gets that headshot in, falls a little bit low, but oh, finds the finish on the Bianca. It's gorgeous, it's a clinic, and that is point A, very swiftly taken by Seoul Dynasty. And yeah, Fitz, good god. Remember when people said that Fitz wasn't a good DPS and that Seoul Dynasty needed to be playing somebody else and whatnot? Like, I remember there was a time when that was the case, and all of those people, you look like fools.
And then he decided to go for the Doom Fitz as we know it now, and he's not playing it currently, but his hit scan has been a real monster this year especially. You got to really credit Creative there for the assist. The Dynamite kill only was extremely good because the Byronade landed first. So 2 really important nades, you could tell. What was that headshot? Feather got demolished by Fitz.
Oh my god, Fitz, you cannot be doing this to people. This is illegal. The Dynamite is in. That's going to burn Flora down, I think. Yeah. Okay, Jester goes in, finishes him off. Now he's pushing around. Look at him. He's just flanking as an Ashe. Trying to line up the Baby Diva. Pushes in. The Dynamite's going to be good again. Everybody is just burning down. This is just a meat grinder right now. And Fitz is the butcher. He's just I don't even have words for it. It's disgusting. It's wonderful. It's like all at the same time. I hate it and I love it.
It's stat time with Avril. Fitz is currently on 16,889 total damage, 16,000 damage for 10. You want to know what everyone else is on? Prophet's on 7.5, Flora's on 7.7, and Feather's on 4.2. Fitz has got 12,000 more damage than Feather.
Good God. What this? I think the most disgusting opening to a map that I've ever seen. Just nuts. I mean, you know, clip it, ship it, put it on the subreddit because people need to be seeing that. What an opening! Prophet now going in. He's looking to have his own little highlight moment. Yeah, spins to win. Beyblade let her rip. Gets a couple kills picked up. Found 2 before that. And look at, I know. It's just what to say. It's 5.5 minutes into point B. They get the stagger here onto Friday after the split spawn, and this is just insane. I'm sure our stats guy will pull it up if they break it, but this is looking like a record pace right now. They're going for the 112.
Fitz is going to hit 20k damage this map. He's on 18,273 right now. 43% of the entire team's damage is Fitz. 43. he's rolling. He's destroying everybody.
That's such an absurd figure. Prophet, I think maybe Prophet's aware of this. Maybe Fitz is taunting him and saying like, "Oh, I've got gold damage right now," and Prophet's like, "Okay, let me try to run it back."
He's got gold, silver, and bronze. He's got all the medals.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, 4 minutes, 40 seconds on the final stretch now here at Hollywood. And I mean, reminder, if they finish with this time bank, that is how long NYXL will have to defend a single tick for. Feather opens things up, does manage to find Gesture. That's going to be a solid start. Needed the mana boost to kind of make it happen. This will slow them up for now, so maybe not going to be seeing that 112 pace quite come through. Might end up with a 113, which is still respectable.
I mean, anything works. You have 0 for NYXL, so that's a draw scenario. Which would be a nightmare for NYXL, but at least it would be something for them to work. They've slowed things down. All right, here we go. Fitz is dead. This is going to give NYXL some much needed breathing. We're at 4 minutes, and we go back to the conversation of perfect gameplay required. It's always NYXL, unfortunately, in this kind of matchup right now, that they need to really be, you know, showing something really huge to bring this one back. And I mean, they're currently able to manage this fight, which is great. A few more of these, 3.5 more minutes of this, and NYXL could actually do it.
It seems like a big ask.
Bit of an ask. Yeah.
You know,
easier said than done.
They did have that solid defense at the end of Hanamura when all was looking lost, so maybe they could do something similarly here. Also getting built up. That's going to be the bottom there. Oh, the bubble was so perfectly placed. Gesture. He gets completely denied on the hook damage. Now the Death Blossom into the back feather will take out Profit. Bianca finds Marvel, and this is a bit of a spawn camp getting ready to come through. You can see both the supports over on this side trying to stay alive, just keeping each other topped up as Feather goes in on the chase. Seems like they will pull back, don't want to overextend here. As the Sleep Dart will find Yakpung, but they will not be able to capitalize, at least not for the moment. Bionade on to 3. Yeah, that's going to shove them back. I mean, look at the rollback on the card, though. It's made it so far back over towards point B. Hook is going to be good. Manages to find Friday right as that rally starts rolling in. Gesture again, however, does fall, and Fitz is only able to find Feather so far with the Dynamite. Laura playing around the side. Flashbang not going to connect. They push in, but the shield bash is there. Then the Fan the Hammer will be good. They find the kill, and suddenly it's 2.5 minutes remaining. NYXL, they've already drained the clock down significantly. 3 minutes gone. Can they keep it going? Can they buy a little bit more?
Grab's going to be really important here as well. Been saving Grab for a while now. Gesture probably wishes he didn't whole hog, because as soon as he did, he instantly died. Bob, yeah, booped a little bit, yeah, but still waiting for the grab. That's important.
Okay, well, there's the focus fire here on to Fitz. I think Yakpung has finally identified the win condition. Kill Fitz, win the game. Trying to do so. Hasn't been able to finish him off, but he does displace him. I do find that one opening pick, so again, it's going to be the Dynasty delayed. Pop it up top, get a ton of damage, receives that bubble as Marvel tries to build up some energy. Grab is online, but they don't have anything realistically to couple with this. They do not have the Deadeye that, you know, Spitz just now is swapped. They do not have a whole hog. They do not have the Death Blossom. Self-destruct coming through. That's going to be the Wraith Walk. Bianca punished. Good job there by Gesture, finishing off the Baby Diva.
Nano Profit.
Making sure that he cannot get the remake. Flashbang comes through. Grab comes out. Profit clicking heads. Manages to find 3 on the back end of the grab. Cart now going to be opened up to roll through. And if they can get it with a minute plus, then they will not have to play against an attack from the side of NYXL. And there you go. Death Blossom to top it off. A minute and 14 seconds remaining. So now, NYXL, they still can play this for a draw. The time bank is nowhere near as bad as it was looking like it was going to be given that start. So if they can just hold them off for minute 14, they will keep their hopes alive in the series.
That was actually a beautiful ending from Seoul as well, because what you see is, you know, early Nano being popped to the Prophet, which is maybe a little too early, does kind of give away the jig there, but, you know, Prophet goes in, teleports straight to the back line, the grab then comes in, and Prophet is immediately in melee range. He's a perfect Reaper damage range to confirm 3 kills, and that's what ends the map ultimately. It's a good effort from NYXL. I mean, we have to address the fact that there was nearly about 5 minutes going into C or something like that, and there's only a 1 minute
4 minutes
time back remaining, right? Yeah,
4 minutes and 1 second they bought.
It's like good from NYXL to do that. Just because we're keeping up the stats now a little bit more, Fitz did surpass 20k there. He's currently on 24,743, which is about double what Profit is. Profit's nearly into 13k, but, you know, for the sake of rounding, we'll say he's pretty much double Profit's damage, which is also double Flora's damage. Flora's also hovering around 12 to 13k currently, and the highest per 10 that I saw there for Fitz was 17,000 per 10 on the Ash. So, I mean, this is a monumental carry performance so far. Even towards the end there, Fitz got that opening frag onto Flora that opened up the 6v5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even if NYXL win this map and then come back and they win map 5, I think we just kind of at this point have to give Fitz player of the match. Such an incredible performance from him. We'll see what happens, though.
I think Watson's going to like
go on the attack. Oh, yeah. He's going to move up quite a few spaces, I think. Fitz, though, not going to be starting with the Ashe like we saw before. Be on the McCree, so a bit more mobile. Instant hook from Jester. That is absolutely huge. Right click does quite a bit of damage to Feather as well. Jester is going to be pulling back to safety. Exits, takes a breather. He's already going to be halfway towards that whole hog. They try to clear up the point. Halfway to the tick right now. As Fitz manages to find Flora. Jester going to be antied out here for the moment. Does manage to stay alive. Fitz finds another one. He finds the third headshot. Now another one on the Yakpung. And there you go. It's done. It's over. Congratulations, Seoul Dynasty. They take the map.
Look,
Fitz is just... Look, yeah. Hug that man.
He deserves
Hug
it.
that man. He just won you this game. He won you this map. Unbelievable carry performance from Fitz. He deserves every ounce of praise and love that he is getting on camera at the moment.
Guys,
brutal.
I heard Pine is back in the league, but I don't care about that right now. I'm all about the big boss Fitz. I don't know. That was insane. I think we'll get the official confirmation of the stats, but he ended on 25,854, which is still 41% of his team's damage. I've never seen. Who does 41% of his team's entire damage? One player. Unreal. Unreal.
Yeah.
I can't believe my eyes.
Like, I've seen figures like that, but it's usually in, like, a loss where one player is, like, performing and the rest of the team is just kind of getting stomped. Like, sure, that I get. But when the team is winning and you're still pushing 41%, and you're, like, the other DPS member on your team is Prophet? Like, what the hell is that? To go 41% of your team's damage. Absolutely absurd.
You know what? He was
just
five final plays. 5 final blows away from deadlifting, by the way. The official deadlift, I think you need 50% of your team's final blows. Fitz was 5 final blows away from achieving an actual, definitive deadlift. So there it is.
Nuts. Well, I mean, it's no surprise. Screw it. Let's just put it up on screen. Fitz is our player of the match. We knew that from the moment that Hollywood attack started. There's no question about it. Nobody else deserves it. The guy has just been absolutely insane today.
Yeah, I can't believe what I saw. That is one of the best, individual performances. Backed up by the eye test. See it on the kill feed. See it on the response from the coaching staff coming to hug him. See it in the stats, most importantly, towards the end, just totally confirmed. When you're outpacing Prophet by a factor of like double almost. I mean, Prophet did do a bit of catch-up towards the end there, but you annihilated everybody. Every other DPS was sitting around 13k, and Fitz just like, you know what, how's 25 for you? And just think about it. If anyone that's played this game, think about when you finish a game of Overwatch and you look at your own stats, and maybe you're a DPS player, how much damage do you think as a DPS player that you personally have ever gotten? Not you, Seth, but like just out there for the people. And then has anyone ever hit like, if you hit 25k, like you'd have to be a high-level player smurfing in a very low-ranked game to be smashing up 25k damage, something like that. So it's just nuts. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I've never hit those kinds of figures. Maybe 20,000 on the high end, and it's like one game out of hundreds that I've played. This is just incredible for him to have played this consistently throughout the entirety of this map, or of this series. Is just what a performance from Fitz. This is one of those.
Unreal.
This is one of those series. This is one of those performances that like everybody should be posting and saying like, yo, if you slept through APAC, go back and watch this series because it was great. Like you have to watch it.
You know what's gonna be good.
And it's like so deserved. It's so like you're just dead serious, and everybody should go back and watch this because it was just a monumental performance. Just bonkers. I can't say enough praises about him right now.
The only thing that will disappoint me is that we're not going to see Shy versus Fitz for the actual qualifiers. If Seoul and Hangzhou both make it into top 4 and they play against each other, you better believe that Shy versus Fitz Ashe battle is going to be the one to watch. That's going to be insane. So we're not going to quite get that in the regular season here, at least not during this stage. But I mean, I'm looking out for it. I'm hoping both those teams can maybe make the top 4 just to make that dream alive. But wonderful performance by Seoul Dynasty, Fitz in particular for receiving the MVP award there. And an interesting game overall from NYXL where they kind of nearly got there, but they kind of fell short. And I felt like Hanamura was changing the tide for me personally.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it now that we are at our final game break of the evening here, presented by Cheez-It Grooves. Let's go straight into our crunch time and talk about Hanamura, talk about that full hold defense that Dynasty were able to pull off.
Yeah, and a lot of this comes down to the fact that it's Seoul Dynasty who had a failure to capture B. They were running the hard compositions, and they were running into a brick wall. That was maybe the highest point for NYXL in the series, and you'll tell me they did win a map, and I know they did, but in terms of just feeling the difference in the teams and feeling the change in the tide that NYXL, I started truly believing that NYXL was maybe going to be the better team in this matchup, was on that B defense, and that flipped 180 when we get to this, A offense. And suddenly, double shield gets pulled out, and we were talking, are we going to see much double shield in APAC? Is double shield going to be something that Gesture and Marvel want to play into? And obviously, Marvel's got to bring out the Sigma. It's just a question of whether Gesture wants to go over towards the Arista or not. We had the same discussion in Hollywood where Gesture decided not to do that, so it's not a guaranteed thing. But here, it just worked a treat where it's a kind of perfect storm of going over to a composition that perhaps NYXL were not ready for, because NYXL changed nothing about the gameplay. They made no adaptations. They really didn't, show any versatility here. It seemed to me, and I said the term, trying to force a square peg into a round hole, just bashing their heads against the wall, trying to brute force their way through, lacking the damage output, lacking the way to dismantle double shield, where in my opinion the way you want to do that is play something that just doesn't care about the double shield like Reaper Doomfist, or play something that moves around the shield like a Ball Ash Echo composition that's really flanky, where you're forcing the shields to not have as much, performance value from the formation. When I talk about formation, I'm talking about the fact that you're putting a couple of shields down and you can't get through these shields. When you're forcing the two tanks to look everywhere 360, that's when double shield doesn't have the same value anymore. And none of that was kind of being brought to the forefront for NYXL, and they just tried to do it front to back. And I don't think that's going to work versus double shield. And Hanamura, that's when I thought the change in the tide was confirmed for me that Seoul was by far the better team, and Hollywood confirmed it even further.
Yeah, I mean, again, I gotta give a shout out to Creative, just being willing to pull the trigger on nano boosting a Mercy, and then having that be the lone play that actually enables you to pull off that full hold on Hanamura, and really effectively help them take this series. Shout outs to you, because that's not an easy decision to make. At the time when you're playing support, you see your other support going a little like, I could nano boost you right now, but it feels so bad. But it was the perfect play in the moment. So really great on Creative to identify that, on the fly, like this is what we need right now. Kept them alive, allowed them to get the res, and then they just were able to take it from there. So really great stuff. But that does it for us here tonight. A fairly swift night. We got slowed up a little bit. Taking a look at the time, 9 o'clock. Not too bad over here in Korea. I believe 10:08 for you.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah. That's it for the evening. We of course have more matches that are going to be happening tomorrow. There's also NA that's going to be happening later on in 6-7 hours or so. So make sure you guys tune in for that. You get enough time to take a nice little nap, or just even full-blown sleep or whatnot. I know that's what I'm going to do. I don't know about you, Avril, but I need to catch up on my sleep. So.
I think so. Yeah, I think so for me as well, for sure. And final shout out for me for Creative, and you brought this up, but honorable mention. If it wasn't Fitz, I'd probably give it to Creative, and just well done to Seoul, and can't wait to see what tomorrow's games are like.
Would have agreed. Well, we'll see what the development's going to look like here. I mean, because it's just a wild time here in APAC land. So I'm all about it. I like the craziness that we have on the series. And whatever, they fed Fitz today, get some of that for Milan Ron or whatever he was eating wasn't cutting it. So we'll find out what they were feeding Fitz, get some of that for, all the other teams need to find that secret stuff and then energize their players, because another level. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be a fun night of APAC action. Avril and I will be back to bring you guys the games tomorrow night as well, so make sure you tune into that. Make sure you tune into NA later. And otherwise, we'll see you then.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.